all driven by data, the epitome of operational efficiency and ultimate customer experience. Imagine a unified platform that connects, collects, curates, and integrates data with your business workflows. Meet Zoho IoT, a powerful low-code IoT platform and comprehensive solution for connected businesses. Witness future-ready manufacturing with shop floor intelligence. Keep a track of every watt and drop. Experience buildings that redefine operation and maintenance excellence. Go the smart mile with your fleet. Unlock new revenue streams with smart and connected products. And that's not all. Custom build your own application in less than a week. Harness the platform's intuitive features to manage devices effortlessly, live track assets, visualize data at its best, predict anomalies and outages with AI, automate workflows, seamlessly integrate multiple apps, adhere to data security and privacy,
check.
and watch your company win the market.
Check this. Wait.
Work smarter with Zoho.
Check.
Manufacturing has constantly evolved. Steam to assembly lines, automation to AI intelligence. Industry 5.0 is the new frontier, the convergence of human ingenuity and machine precision to deliver agility, efficiency, and sustainability. Yet, manufacturers face critical challenges across the value chain. Unpredictable demand shifts disrupt supply chains. Fragmented operations stagger productivity. Cyber threats jeopardize business. Sustainability demands a resource use. Disjointed customer interactions trigger churn and revenue loss. Success hinges on evolving beyond automation, connecting, securing, and optimizing end-to-end. Tata Communications helps you unlock the power of a connected, intelligent, and secure manufacturing ecosystem. With Tata Communications, reimagine a factory where machines predict failures before they occur. Real-time visibility and control optimize fully integrated operations. Intelligent supply chains adapt dynamically to demand. Real-time warehouse inventory tracking optimizes stock levels and streamlines operations. Data and infrastructure are proactively secured. AI models optimize sustainable, energy-efficient production across facilities. AI-driven insights fuel smarter products and hyper-personalized customer experiences for increased brand reputation and customer loyalty. From the factory floor to global supply chains to end customer experience, we connect it all. Tomorrow's innovation is today's reality. Are you ready to lead? Tata Communications, shaping the factories of tomorrow today.
Introducing Zoho ERP, a state-of-the-art platform that is futuristic, comprehensive, and consistently aesthetic, and designed to absorb billions of data points and bring your vision to life. It is built on a full-stack infrastructure that simplifies even the most complex operations. With Zoho ERP, you can master your finances end-to-end and stay on top of every transaction. Manage supply from procurement to delivery, ensuring your orders always reach on time. Your workforce is taken care of, with everything from onboarding to payroll and expenses handled seamlessly. You can also build your website and sell online or in-store, reaching your customers wherever they choose to buy. As your business grows, flexible billing models adapt naturally to the way your business operates, while spending remains visible and under control, helping you stay within budget. Across all of this, payments are built into every workflow, so wherever money moves, payments flow naturally. In the background, compliance runs quietly, so you don't have to worry about it. With access to every detail, big or small, you can always see where the business stands and confidently decide where it goes next. Together, these insights power strong decisions across diverse industries, including manufacturing, distribution, nonprofits, and retail. And through it all, Zoho ERP becomes an intelligent partner that works with you, not just for you. Powered by an AI that answers when you ask, co-creates when you need it to, surfaces insights, spots patterns, flags anomalies, and helps take your business where you want it to go. Do more in less time with advanced automation and build solutions around the way you work. You can also personalize your workspace, ensuring every team sees only what they need. And with privacy by principle and security by design, your data is yours and stays yours. When customers, money, people, goods, governance, AI, and data move together, decisions are not just made, they are right. Welcome to Zoho ERP. Once ours, now yours.
Even as times change, we at Panasonic remain steadfast in our vision. A world where everyone is healthy in both body and mind, and where nature can flourish for years to come. Household solar power generation and consumption will become efficient with AI. Fully connected appliances and energy self-sufficiency with renewables will be the new standards for every home. Electric vehicles will serve as emergency batteries. Homes will be ready for the unexpected for peace of mind. And our cities, they will come alive with energy-managed buildings. Landmarks will brighten everyday life. Theme parks and stadiums will exhilarate using less carbon. We believe electrical equipment can deliver well-being and energy management through our eco-friendly, human-centered technologies. Supporting human infrastructure, it's part of Panasonic's DNA. Brightening today, powering the future, Panasonic.
In a world where every moment counts, businesses should hustle smarter. People and processes should be streamlined. Things and technology should keep you connected. All driven by data, the epitome of operational efficiency and ultimate customer experience. Imagine a unified platform that connects, collects, curates, and integrates data with your business workflows. Meet Zoho IoT, a powerful low-code IoT platform and comprehensive solution for connected businesses. Witness future-ready manufacturing with shop floor intelligence. Keep a track of every watt and drop. Experience buildings that redefine operation and maintenance excellence. Go the smart mile with your fleet. Unlock new revenue streams with smart and connected products. And that's not all. Custom build your own application in less than a week. Harness the platform's intuitive features to manage devices effortlessly, live track assets, visualize data at its best, predict anomalies and outages with AI, automate workflows, seamlessly integrate multiple apps, adhere to data security and privacy, and watch your company win the market. Work smarter with Zoho IoT.
Manufacturing has constantly evolved. Steam to assembly lines, automation to AI intelligence. Industry 5.0 is the new frontier, the convergence of human ingenuity and machine precision to deliver agility, efficiency, and sustainability. Yet, manufacturers face critical challenges across the value chain. Unpredictable demand shifts disrupt supply chains. Fragmented operations stagger productivity. Cyber threats jeopardize business continuity. Sustainability demands smarter resource use. Disjointed customer interactions trigger churn and revenue loss. Success hinges on evolving beyond automation, connecting, securing, and optimizing end-to-end. Tata Communications helps you unlock the power of a connected, intelligent, and secure manufacturing ecosystem. With Tata Communications, reimagine a factory where machines predict failures before they occur. Real-time visibility and control optimize fully integrated operations. Intelligent supply chains adapt dynamically to demand. Real-time warehouse inventory tracking optimizes stock levels and streamlines operations. Data and infrastructure are proactively secured. AI models optimize sustainable, energy-efficient production across facilities. AI-driven insights fuel smarter products and hyper-personalized customer experiences for increased brand reputation and customer loyalty. From the factory floor to global supply chains to end customer experience, we connect it all. Tomorrow's innovation is today's reality. Are you ready to lead? Tata Communications, shaping the factories of tomorrow today.
Introducing Zoho ERP, a state-of-the-art platform that is futuristic, comprehensive, and consistently aesthetic, and designed to absorb billions of data points and bring your vision to life. It is built on a full-stack infrastructure that simplifies even the most complex operations. With Zoho ERP, you can master your finances end-to-end and stay on top of every transaction. Manage supply from procurement to delivery, ensuring your orders always reach on time. Your workforce is taken care of, with everything from onboarding to payroll and expenses handled seamlessly. You can also build your website and sell online or in-store, reaching your customers wherever they choose to buy. As your business grows, flexible billing models adapt naturally to the way your business operates, while spending remains visible and under control, helping you stay within budget. Across all of this, payments are built into every workflow, so wherever money moves, payments flow naturally. In the background, compliance runs quietly, so you don't have to worry about it. With access to every detail, big or small, you can always see where the business stands and confidently decide where it goes next. Together, these insights power strong decisions across diverse industries, including manufacturing, distribution, nonprofits, and retail. And through it all, Zoho ERP becomes an intelligent partner that works with you, not just for you. Powered by an AI that answers when you ask, co-creates when you need it to, surfaces insights, spots patterns, flags anomalies, and helps take your business where you want it to go. Do more in less time with advanced automation, and build solutions around the way you work. You can also personalize your workspace, ensuring every team sees only what they need. And with privacy by principle and security by design, your data is yours and stays yours. When customers, money, people, goods, governance, AI, and data move together, decisions are not just made, they are right. Welcome to Zoho ERP. Once ours, now yours.
Even as times change, we at Panasonic remain steadfast in our vision. A world where everyone is healthy in both body and mind, and where nature can flourish for years to come. Household solar power generation and consumption will become efficient with AI. Fully connected appliances and energy self-sufficiency with renewables will be the new standards for every home. Electric vehicles will serve as emergency batteries. Homes will be ready for the unexpected for peace of mind. And our cities, they will come alive with energy-managed buildings. Landmarks will brighten everyday life. Theme parks and stadiums will exhilarate using less carbon. We believe electrical equipment can deliver well-being and energy management through our eco-friendly, human-centered technologies. Supporting human infrastructure, it's part of Panasonic's DNA. Brightening today. Powering the future, Panasonic.
In a world where every moment counts, businesses should hustle smarter. People and processes should be streamlined. Things and technology should keep you connected. All driven by data, the epitome of operational efficiency and ultimate customer experience. Imagine a unified platform that connects, collects, curates, and integrates data with your business workflows. Meet Zoho IoT, a powerful low-code IoT platform and comprehensive solution for connected businesses. Witness future-ready manufacturing with shop floor intelligence. Keep a track of every watt and drop. Experience buildings that redefine operation and maintenance excellence. Go the smart mile with your fleet. Unlock new revenue streams with smart and connected products. And that's not all. Custom build your own application in less than a week. Harness the platform's intuitive features to manage devices effortlessly, life track assets, visualize data at its best, predict anomalies and outages with AI, automate workflows, seamlessly integrate multiple apps, adhere to data security and privacy, and watch your company win the market. Work smarter with Zoho IoT.
Manufacturing has constantly evolved. Steam to assembly lines, automation to AI intelligence. Industry 5.0 is the new frontier of human ingenuity and machine precision to deliver agility, efficiency, and sustainability. Yet, manufacturers face critical challenges across the value chain. Unpredictable demand shifts disrupt supply chains. Fragmented operations stagger productivity. Cyber threats jeopardize business continuity. Sustainability demands smarter resource use. Disjointed customer interactions trigger churn and revenue loss. Success hinges on evolving beyond automation, connecting, securing, and optimizing end-to-end. Tata Communications helps you unlock the power of a connected, intelligent, and secure manufacturing ecosystem. With Tata Communications, reimagine a factory where machines predict failures before they occur. Real-time visibility and control optimize fully integrated operations. Intelligent supply chains adapt dynamically to demand. Real-time warehouse inventory tracking optimizes stock levels and streamlines operations. Data and infrastructure are proactively secured. AI models optimize sustainable, energy-efficient production across facilities. AI-driven insights fuel smarter products and hyper-personalized customer experiences for increased brand reputation and customer loyalty. From the factory floor to global supply chains to end customer experience, we connect it all. Tomorrow's innovation is today's reality. Are you ready to lead? Tata Communications, shaping the factories of tomorrow today.
Introducing Zoho ERP, a state-of-the-art platform that is futuristic, comprehensive, and consistently aesthetic, and designed to absorb billions of data points and bring your vision to life. It is built on a full-stack infrastructure that simplifies even the...
Hello and a very good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Amazing. Thank you very much. Well, my name is Dipali and I will be your host for this very special evening. Thank you so much for joining us here today to celebrate 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start this entire summit in next 10 minutes. But before we do that, here is an announcement for all of you, a few housekeeping notes. So that once we begin this summit, there won't be any kind of disturbance. So I would request to all of you to kindly please to put your mobile phone on a silent mode. Can we all do that quickly? Yes? Or I would say just put it away for next few hours, because this entire summit is going to be a very exciting knowledge sharing session for all of us. So thank you very much once again for being a part of 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026. Before we begin, let me tell to all of you that this evening works best as a conversation. So ask questions, share what you are seeing right on the floor, on the ground. And the best things tonight, all will come from the floor itself. So here we all are excited to begin 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026. Okay, so those who have just walked in, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Dipali, and to begin 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026, before we do that, here I have an exciting idea to quickly warm up this entire room. Are you all with me? Because as I know that all these smart minds are under one roof today. So I really do not want to miss out on this opportunity. So quickly, I'm going to set a smart challenge to all of the smart minds, those who are present in front of me today. Shall we all do this? As I already mentioned, this evening is gonna be a lot more interesting when we converse with each other. Okay, so here's a quick challenge. Just keep your mobile phones aside. Yes, thank you very much. Both hands absolutely free. If you're holding on to your mobile, notepad, pen, anything, just keep it aside, just for a minute. Okay, now join me. Just lift your left hand up in the air, only the left hand. Now, with the left hand, just try to draw a triangular shape in the air. Just a normal triangle. Yes, easy? You must be saying, Dipali, what is this? What are you making us all to do? Okay, now rest your left hand. Lift your right hand up in the air. With the right hand, try to draw a circular shape in the air. A big circle. Not like this. Let it be a big circle. There you go. Okay, now rest both of your hands. Are you ready for the challenge? Yes? Now, lift both of your hands up in the air and try to draw both the shapes at once in the air. With the left hand, it has to be a triangular shape. With the right hand, just try to draw a circle. Let's have fun. Let me see who can do this. I can see the infinity, sir. Yes, non-stop. I mean, I think I would expect minimum 5 times without any break, non-stop actions. With the left hand, you just need to draw a triangular shape. With the right hand, you just need to draw a circular shape. Is it fun? Is it fun? Okay, now I think we all are warmed up for the 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026. Once again, thank you so much for marking this evening with your presence. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Once again, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Dipali, and I'm so glad to be here to be a part of 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026. We are starting in just 5 minutes. So everyone, all of my friends, those who are still standing outside, could you please join us here? Just settle down. If you haven't put your mobile phone on the silent mode yet, please do that as quickly as possible. And let's begin 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026. Thank you.
Cause you're a sky, cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky, cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the path. I don't care if you wanna tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause in the sky, full of stars, I think I saw you.
Hello and very good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit. My name is Deepali Patil and I will be your host for this very special evening. It is my privilege to open this evening's proceedings. Before we proceed, may I request to all of you, shall we all exchange a warm handshake with your colleagues and say hello? Everyone, Let's begin 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026. Because once a wise man has rightly said that coming together is just a beginning. Working together is a progress, and keeping it all together is a grand success. So, on this note, shall we begin 9th Smart Manufacturing Summit 2026 with huge round of applause? Everyone. Thank you. For 8 editions, this summit has brought together the people who carry real accountability in Indian manufacturing. Plant heads, technology leaders, line managers, those who have to make the strategy work when the boardroom meeting is over. Tonight, that tradition continues with the 9th edition of Smart Manufacturing Summit. Thank you again for being a part of it. Our theme this year is the sentient factory leading the cognitive industrial revolution. Not a metaphor, not a marketing phrase, a genuine question about where manufacturing intelligence is heading and what it demands of us as leaders. Before we go further, let me share a short video that gives you a sense of who we are at ITP Media and where manufacturing today fits in. Shall we have video, please? Thank you for your attention. And now, to set the context for the day, please join me in welcoming Sujata Vishnuraj, editor of Manufacturing Today India. Join your hands together for Sujata Vishnuraj.
Good evening, everyone. So thank you for being here. So before I start, you guys have seen what ITP Media is and what Manufacturing Today, which is a part of ITP Media, does. So today, before I begin even talking about this event, I want to ask a very pertinent question, which is not a rhetorical question that I'm talking about. It's not even a warm-up line that I'm talking about, but a genuine question that I have been, sitting with for a while now. So, who is actually running the factory? That's my question. And not in the organizational chart way, or not in the ownership or the management sense, but in the real operational sense, who is running the factory for us? Who is making the calls? So, because the honest answer increasingly, if you ask me, is that we are not entirely sure about what the answer is, but I think that uncertainty is worth examining before we spend this evening, where we are going to talk about how technology works for us, or how how we celebrate how far we have come in terms of technology. So, as I said, honestly, I don't have the answer. But a few months ago, what happened is, for our anniversary edition, the theme was top plant heads. And one of my conversations, when I was speaking to a plant head, someone who has spent around 20 years on the shop floor, um, he said something that stayed with me, if you ask me. So he said, I used to know every decision that was made on the factory floor. Now the system makes it for me, and I trust the system. And uh, but I couldn't explain the system, why the system did it for you. You know, he could not explain it, but he said that in a way where he was not complaining about it. He was not resisting to the change. He called it a technological progress that has happened. And yes, it is a technological progress that has happened. And but that sentence, I could not always explain it to you, stayed with me for some time, and it kept coming back to me. Because when a person with 20 years of experience is saying that he no longer can fully account for why a decision was taken, and in their own plan, something has shifted, not for the worse, but something has shifted, where we should be at least honest to have a conversation about it. um, so we all know that the technology is going forward. Sentient factory is not a concept anymore. The sentient factory is not a vision document, nor is it a theme that we have taken up for a keynote address during a conference. It is what is actually happening on the shop floor. And right now, in pieces, in stages, in ways that are sometimes visible and sometimes it's not visible. Agentic AI systems that do not wait for instructions. They observe, they learn, and they act. Digital twins that can run simulations um, in a span of, run hundreds of simulation by the time a team meeting is over. And supply chain systems that begin to kind of reroute themselves before the disruptions have even been flagged off. So the factory is developing in a very real sense. And it has a mind of its own, if I may say. And the question is not whether that is happening. It is a question that we question. It is a question that, what we do with that fact. That is what we need to kind of discuss about it. So the discourse, it's not, when we talk about technology, what we do is, in this here's the thing that we kind of have talk about when this conversation is happening. They are framed around capability, they are framed around what can technology do, how far has it come, or what's the next frontier. And I'm not saying it is not legitimate. It is a legitimate question that is there, and it's very important conversation too. The progress is real, the numbers are real, the case studies are real, everything is real. But here's a question that almost every conversation that we are kind of forgetting, or something that is getting skipped. No, I'm not talking about the jobs, because it is getting a lot of airtime any which ways, sometimes in a slightly hand-wringing way. I'm talking about something which is very fundamental here. If the system is making judgmental calls, what does expertise mean anymore? That is my question. And what does the 2 decades on the shop floor mean now? Um, where, if the AI is processing million similar scenarios before, and arrived at a conclusion before you even finish your chai. So what's the role of experienced human in a system where technology is taking the calls, and increasingly it does not even ask you? So that is a question I want to be willing to sit with in this during this evening. There are things, in my opinion, that experienced people know that no training data has yet captured. So let me be clear about it. I am not saying that slow down the technology. I'm not saying that. I am not saying old ways were better. No, I'm not. I'm not at all being sentimental about human intuition in the face of machine capabilities. No. What I'm saying is there are things that experienced people on the shop floor know. These things are built from years of watching how particular machines behave in a particular condition, or how particular supplier tends to kind of communicate, or when something goes wrong, or when the production anomaly looks like 6 hours before 6 hours before the crisis even hits. So I feel when the moment an organization stops valuing that knowledge, it starts losing it. Not that, um, not overnight, but gradually and very quietly, that too. Until one day the system makes a call that no one on the shop floor can sense check. We all have an intuition, right? Because the people who could have done that has gone and are out of practice, and maybe were not in the loop when all this was happening. So the answer that I am looking is not about slowing down. So what's the answer? I want to be honest. The ship has sailed, though being slow. We cannot uninvent agentic AI. You are not going to ask digital twins to slow down because humans can't keep up, nor should you ask that. But I do believe there is a deliberate choice that we need to make. The manufacturers who navigate this well uh, will not be the ones who simply adopt technology for the sake of it, but adopt technology with an intention where, what remains with humans, that and why it should remain with humans, not out of sentiment but out of strategy. Because the combination of what a cognitive system and human judgment and human intelligence can do is much more powerful than either one alone. The organizations that figure this as an important aspects are the ones which are going to survive this stage of technological boom in manufacturing. So that's how we came to this conversation, and we are bringing that conversation to the table today. So what is exactly we going to discuss? We have put together a program that we hope moves beyond the usual showcase of what is possible into more honest conversation about what actually means to lead through this, not just go through it, but lead through it. So our keynote will set the strategic context, what the shift from Industry 4.0 to truly intelligent ecosystem actually demands of a leadership. Our first panel goes right to the heart of what a cognitive factory means in practice, including the ethical dimension and the question of the worker. We then move into analytics and operation decision making because the gap between data and action is still where most organizations are losing ground. And we close with a forward looking session on future of industrial intelligence with people who are actually building it, not just theorizing about it. So that is the conversation that I want you all to have today. You know, the balance between cognitive systems and human judgment. That's a conversation that I want to bring into this room tonight, today evening. Not to resolve it. I'm not saying that, you know, we can come out with a resolution or a solution in one evening, but to begin it properly and with the right people, with the right questions, without the usual veneer of, you know, the technological optimism that tends to smooth over the panels that are genuinely, or the questions or the paths that are genuinely hard. We all know that we are at an inflection point when it comes to manufacturing. Decisions made now about what to automate, what to preserve, what to delegate, and what to hold will shape the industry for the next decade. I'm glad you all are here to discuss this in this room and be part of that conversation. I will encourage each one of you to ask questions to the panelists because the topics are very important. Maybe not today, but for the future, it's very important. Welcome to the 9th edition of Smart Manufacturing Summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujata. That framing gives us a strong foundation for the conversations ahead. The speakers and panelists with us today represent some of the sharper thinking in Indian manufacturing, technology, and industry. And we at Manufacturing Today are grateful to each one and glad that they made time. A big thank you to our partners, Panasonic, Tata Communications, and Zoho, whose support makes this summit possible. Shall we all join our hands together for our partners? Thank you, Panasonic, Tata Communications, and Zoho. The conversations ahead will cover agentic AI, next generation digital twins, quantum inspired supply chain optimization, not as emerging ideas, but as live decisions that manufacturers are navigating right now. We begin with this evening's keynote address, and I'm delighted to invite our first speaker to the stage. Few people have put in the hours that Dattatreya Navalgunkar has in bringing Industry 4.0 within reach of Indian MSMEs. As Executive Director of C4I4 Lab, the Center for the Industry 4.0, he has spent years working at the gap between where small and mid-sized manufacturers are and where they need to be. India's manufacturing story cannot be told without its MSMEs, and its MSMEs cannot afford to sit out the technology shift that is already underway. Please put your hands together and welcome Dattatreya Navalgunkar, Executive Director, C4I4 Lab, to the podium to take us through what that leap from Industry 4.0 to intelligent ecosystems looks like in practice. Dattatreya Navalgunkar. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. So, good evening. Sujata, thank you for inviting me. Okay, just a quick call. How many of you know C4I4? I mean, or okay, there are at least a good number of people. Because our reputation is inversely proportional to distance from Pune. I'll just give you a little bit of brief because about us, what we are doing. So we started about 8 years ago, and we thought this Center for Industry 4 we started with a thing that will help MSMEs to adopt and accelerate that adoption. So we set up an experience center. It's there in Pune. Coming to today, we have about 9 centers across India. So and they are in the. So we are in Ludhiana. We are in somewhere in Indore. We are in Ahmedabad. We are in Tiruchirappalli. So whatever you can see, the clusters of manufacturing, we are there. We also realize that MSMEs, they work in clusters. So textile industry is different than bicycle industry. And you need to adopt a little different hat than just automating their processes. So then we had to take a shape that we align ourselves to the local manufacturing clusters. So cluster is a geographical cluster. Second is a manufacturing cluster. So we have a small office in Silvassa. We are working with about 90 MSMEs, 90. They are from textile, pharma, and some of my colleagues are here today. They actually work with the companies there, trying to help them to achieve the next goal, which is sustainable manufacturing. And see, one is automation. Second is the AI part, or we bring in intelligent manufacturing. But third is how do we bring in sustainable manufacturing? And that is where, when we started, we were of the opinion that we should let industry know why there is a need to adopt Industry 4. But the point which came up was people were initially excited. There are a lot of automation activities happening, robots coming in, PLCs coming in. But then at some point of time, we need to put some objective behind it. And objective has to be, and that's where the entire struggle of ROI justification came up. So one thing which we realized that we need to start measuring what is our waste making in the factories. And we realized, so we are calling it like a war on waste through Industry 4. So whether you call it sustainable manufacturing, is a war on waste. I'm using less power, I'm using less water, I'm using whatever waste disposable mechanism, and how automation can help me to achieve that. So we found some purpose over about 4 or 5 years that if we have to bring this war on waste, rather than, so, okay, Shirish Kulkarni is here today, because there are a lot of concepts on sustainability and manufacturing, Industry 5, Industry 6. So, but the fact remains that we have to take this war on waste to a next level. And that is where we found that MSME started finding some resonance with what we are talking about. 2023, we had only one experience center. Today, there are about 10 experience centers across India. And I can tell you, over last 1 year, the people who visiting from industry and different companies is close to about 25,000 plus companies. And that is a change which we are looking at. And that change could only happen, of course, because the local industries found us useful. And that part came up. We partnered with World Economic Forum to put up a paper on AI in manufacturing for MSMEs. And we have a booklet which got published last year. It's something which, for all of us, we really feel proud about, that from the standpoint of World Economic Forum, we could contribute that how AI in manufacturing can take a shape for MSMEs. Today, audience probably is from large companies, but the manufacturing, 60% of manufacturing actually happens with MSMEs. And if we look at those staggering numbers, we need to give them a lot of tools which they can comfortably use. And that is where we are trying our best and bit. So this was all about a little bit about us. Okay. Coming to today's event. Although, Sujata, this is a comment for you. We talk about manufacturing today, but actually it's all about manufacturing for tomorrow. So the magazine title itself it gives a as it is status, but actually we are looking at, as a conference, we are looking at something for future. Just 3 days ago, I don't know how many of you have noticed this. There was a drone which struck a US helicopter. I don't know. How many of you know this? Just 2 days ago, okay? And then there was another drone which rescued the pilots. Do you know this? This was a drone actually. It was a speedboat, unmanned speedboat with a drone application. This drone classically invented by a Punekar. So again, but based in US, that's a different story. Point is that the application canvas for any automation technology is immense. So there was a drone which was used to attack someone else, but there was a drone which was used to save people. So we are here to use our automation, to use our productivity, to use being a cost competitive, to save our jobs. We should take out that myth that drones or any automation will change the way we work. Yes, it changes the way we work, but it doesn't take away jobs. Last 20 years, we have seen ATMs all over country. 90s, I think it started. Today's situation is that the cashiers haven't gone away. The cashier jobs are still growing every year by 4%. I'm talking about India. So if that can happen in the era of UPI also, the jobs for ATM. So this whole concept of the jobs of people will go away with automation coming in. We have to rethink and give a confidence to people who are going to work with us. If we give that confidence, then only they will become our partners. Because ultimately, any technology we bring in, we need people to implement that. And that today, what actually is happening, frankly, we talk about very large number of employment and unemployment. And we also say that AI is going to kill jobs or we are going to move out away from jobs. No, it's not going to happen. On the contrary, it creates additional jobs. So just give you an example of ATM, how many new jobs it created, right from dispensing machine to security, to air conditioning system, to rentals. Just imagine the ecosystem. So same thing when you look at agentic AI, you think that the jobs will go away? And to me, it doesn't look like. On the contrary, we are going to need tremendous amount of people to develop agentic AI. If there are just 30,000 MSMEs who are in the state of Gujarat alone, they are in the range of 50 to 200 crore turnover, which are in a sizable range. For 30,000 companies, there are going to be resources who are going to power the next generation manufacturing. And that is where we have to look at this creating a fear in the mind of people that all the new technological inventions will take away jobs is not something which is sustainable. Because ultimately, we need people. Today, for automation, we need data engineers. We don't need AI experts just now. Because for us, the data which comes out of machine, how do we extract that data? We are working with a lot of companies, by the way. We realize that at the shop floor level, data extraction, it has happened, but it is in a very bits and pieces. And when we bring the data out of a machine, we need something called data warehouse or data lake. Where is the talent for managing data extraction and data lake? Today, I think Mitsubishi team is also here, or some of the automation companies are here. Just imagine the kind of resources they have or the trained manpower they have for this data engineering work. It's really trained manpower is not available. And that is where what we have to do is look at our problems in a very justifiable, significant way. And when we look at data engineers, we can say that, okay, in my factory, I have right type of talent which can bring data to a point. The AI can work only when you have data. If data is not there, the AI, it's difficult to talk about AI. So we started with all this, a data engineering course in partnership with IIT Chennai 2 years ago. That was because according to us, we need about 3 to 4 lakh data engineers alone in India because we don't have that manpower. And unless we have that structural change which is happening, see, the situation in India and the automation, we have machines which are of 70s, 80s, 90s, and decades. We haven't done very significant investment in our equipments. So you need a lot of work to bring that data out of the machines. Now to do that, we need talent. And we can't have just a hands-on kind of a thing. We need people who are trained to absorb data. I was talking to Mr. Sandeep, he mentioned about the way Germans operate, and which I think, yes, the automation, why automation company doesn't happen at a speed at which it should have. It has accelerated. It's not that in last 4 years, if you look at the kind of order boards which any company, automation company has, it's significantly high. But then the adoption, when you look at the opportunity, is still very significantly low. And for that, again, the talent availability is a big challenge. If we have to look at the 1 trillion economy only in manufacturing, which is going to be our 20% plus, there are certain structural steps we really need to look at. And those structural steps are on the skill and having a talent available. And that is where all of us and this company, this audience has some senior leaders. I think we need to look at bringing people at least to a fore that, okay, these are the areas where we are looking at people, the skills. And unless and until we skill our own people, or we bring a fresh talent who can bring a voice to us or data to us. So one part which really is a big concern to all of us is having a right talent and right manpower for us, especially looking at a data engineering. We work with a very large, let me tell you, they collect huge amount of data. It's a connected vehicle. So, and we ultimately ended up in asking that, okay, what do we do with this data? And then, okay, it's a USP for marketing this product because that is one area where, because competition offers. And it's a huge amount of data for the connected device. So unless and until we have some objective, unless we have some game for that data which we are collecting, otherwise this data becomes itself a burden onto the system. Because terabytes of data we are collecting and we are storing in a data center. And then only we are paying that data center fee. And at some point of time, we start feeling that, oh, that's a very big cost item. Let's stop it. And that is what defeats the purpose of things which we are going up. And so you name it today, any device is there which is connected. Unless and until we establish a purpose, okay, I'm going to offer a good service to our customers. So what we really need to do, like if I'm working on any sort of connected or automated process, I need to define an objective for me in shaping that reason for it. And unless and until we look at an objective, and it's all business case. We can't do just in today's world with automation products are at a very high cost because many of things are getting imported. Something which if we are investing in something, we need to be very conscious of the cost of putting it on our shop floor or cost of putting it into a product. So second item, which I'm definitely saying is that we need to have, so skill is the first part. Second is the objective for why we are leading this. And unless and until there is an objective, we can't look at. We look at digital twin also. So in the previous slides, I saw something on digital twin. We are working, and I'm just sharing this because it's not that we are working. What we realize that digital twin for a testing equipment, okay? So if any product is getting tested, you start measuring data. And can we look at building a confidence model where at a particular point, so if you are testing a product for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, can we look at testing it with a lesser resources. And so we build a model, building a confidence score. Instead of testing a product for 3 hours, can we cut it down by 30 minutes? You're saving a energy. You're saving a resource time. You're adding a capacity. So again, if we are building a digital twin, we need to be very cautious and careful, because otherwise we do a lot of projects and we don't end up in actually deploying it. So doing or developing, that's the one part. At the same time, it's a good innovation portal. It's a good innovation platform also, because you are encouraging people to innovate. But at the same time, innovation can't be at a cost. When I'm putting up a digital twin, I need to put it with some caveats that, okay, this is the objective which I want to earn. Because kind of manpower we are using for developing a twin, it's a high cost item. And we need to be mindful about evolving these things. Third part was about the sustainable manufacturing. The compliance pivot is growing day by day. About last year, top 1,000 companies had to submit a BRSR report. Europe imports for some products is going through a lot of structural change in terms of you have to do a certification, you have to look at data. Especially in Germany, it came in year before last, and now other European countries are also bringing that regulation. Our own manufacturing companies, we need to educate them. And that is where the forums like Manufacturing Today, we need to educate the need of the hour for understanding those regulations. Especially, there is a need for sharing the data of supply chain. There is also a requirement or need for certifying those. There are a lot of legal attorneys who are there based in Europe who do those certifications. And unless and until you have a certification, you can't import into Europe a product made in any of the part of the country, any part of the world. So it's not for India specific. It started, I think, with battery parts, and it also started for construction equipments. Probably other sectors are going to follow through this. But those regulations which are changing, and especially for the companies which are exporting, it's not a compliance part. They're looking at data sharing from things like your raw material to finished goods, and which is what the automation can bring in. So if we are looking at a compliance or regulatory, we need a strong automation. If we are looking at a sustainable manufacturing, we call it a war on waste, we need a very strong focus on automation. And that is the areas where we need to. So again, you need to define an objective where we are looking at. There are some risks also, and those risks are primarily what actually is happening is that we are trying out too many things. And the risk is of failing in our projects or failing in not implementing the objective which we are. But those risks are something which we have to live with the business as usual. So it's like we develop a product the same way we develop something on automation, or we develop some automated assembly line. Well, at least that brings in the discussion on how do I bring a speed to the way I manufacture my products. So last part is, can we bring the AI to the focus on digital twin? And that is where we can look at. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is that the convergence of digital and sustainable in manufacturing is going to be there. So we need to look at it from a standpoint that we will work on this and we will work together this. Second, technologies are going to stay. They're not, because we are all innovative people. And by far, whatever we have interacted with, even the global companies, we as Indians, we have a solid talent see, we call it jugaad and whatever, we can do things in a best possible way. Because our resources have been, so we have to use that talent effectively. And for that, we need to build a scalable, mature manufacturing. And if we can bring that together, I think that is the purpose which we can really achieve. So with this, thank you for inviting me. I think my time is up. So thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very precise and grounded picture of where we are and where we are going. So may I request you to kindly please join us back on the stage. May I call up on Sujata Vishnuraj, Editor, Manufacturing Today, to felicitate Mr. Naval Gunkar. Thank you so much for sharing all the valuable information with us. Thank you. No successful industry dialogue is complete without strong partners. Are you all agree? Yes? And today, ladies and gentlemen, please do join me in welcoming the Panasonic team as they take us through their partner presentation and highlight the innovations and solutions they are bringing to the industry. May I now invite Mr. Nitesh Chandra, Category Head, Switchgear, Panasonic Life Solutions India Private Limited, to the stage to deliver Panasonic's partner presentation. Nitesh Chandra. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. We all know that Panasonic is majorly into electronics, but we are there in electrical space as well, wherein Panasonic purchased Anchor in year 2007. And now we are a part of Panasonic Group, as in Panasonic Electric Works India Private Limited. As I told you that Anchor was established in year 1963. It was acquired by Panasonic in year 2007, and we are having an organization strength of almost around 8,550 people over there. And we are having a business of almost around 6,008 crores. And we are having 30 sales offices across the country. Panasonic was established in year 1918. It's almost more than 100 years. Over a revenue of almost $60 billion, and we are having an organization strength of almost around 228,000 across the globe. As I told you, we are not just a such switch company. Anchor is not just a switch company. We are into different verticals. We are into wires and cables. We are into switch gears, the final distribution product range. We are into PVC conduits. We are into lighting, IAQ, smart building automation. So whatever goes inside the living space, we are there for the electrical requirement. We are having 4 manufacturing areas where we are manufacturing facilities. We are having 6 factories across the country. We are having 30 sales offices. All our factories are at Haridwar, Kutch, Sri City, and Daman. And all our factories are automated. Like only human intervention will be at the time of lifting of material or putting it on the conveyor belt. And when we are doing all the screwing and everything related to the internal child part to be put in the main product, it has been done automatically. It's an automation line. Our products are available across the verticals, like in trade, retail, B2C. We are there for B2B vertical as well. We are into modern retail. We are also exporting from India to Middle East, from Isamia, even to European countries and US, and even back to Japan. And we are having system integrators also who are doing automation for Panasonic products. We are working towards the brightening today and powering the future as well. We are also looking for the green impact. Like Panasonic is working towards the green impact. We are working towards like zero CO2 emission by 2030. That is our motto. And while the growing, like our factories are growing like anything, but still our CO2 emission is on the lower side, and we are even working on getting it to zero. We are working for comfortable, convenient, and sustainable living for our customers. We are providing integrated solution. As I told you, that we are having an integrated solution for each and every electrical requirement under the living space. We are manufacturing switch and socket, home automation, passive infrared sensors, floor outlets, conduit pipe, factory line automation, and more. In lighting, we are having professional as well as consumer lighting. Both product lines are there with us. We are into solar as well. We are manufacturing photovoltaic cells. We are into ventilation and air purification. That is a need of our right now. We are into air conditioning. We are into ventilation, and we are into a product which is even safe for COVID virus as well. It's fighting against the COVID virus as well. So we are having that product also in our forte. Why to choose Panasonic? Because we are more than 100 years. We begin our journey in 1918. We are number one in Japan for WD, that is switch and sockets, and number two globally in the same space. We are prioritizing safety, comfort, and sustainability for our customers. We are producing innovative products for Indian as well as international markets. We have worked across the globe. We have done a lot of monuments across the country, across the globe. Even the Indian Parliament, the new Parliament, is being done by Panasonic. The automation, the lighting management system has been done by Panasonic. Even the first bullet train in India is being done by Panasonic itself for the lighting management system. We are, as I told you, that we are committed to the carbon neutrality, and we are brightening today, powering the future as well. Thank you. Our stall is there in the back. We request you to visit us. We'll give you a glimpse of our products. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to our friends at Panasonic. And now, with that, let's move to what promises to be a rich conversation. Our first panel discussion of this evening, the dawn of the cognitive factory. This panel takes on the question that sits beneath this evening's theme. What does it actually mean for a factory to be sentient? Not in the science fiction sense, but in the operational sense. What shifts when AI moves from being a tool to something closer to a colleague? And how do organizations and the people inside them make that transition without losing what they have built? Our moderator for this panel is Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, Deputy Director for Business Development and Services at Renishaw India. Joining him on the stage, Dr. Uday Narang, Founder, Omega Seki Mobility, Ganesh Joshi, CIO, Nilons Enterprises, Vinod Bhatt, Chief Digital Officer, Tata Autocomp Systems, Dr. Sandhya Pandey, Senior Director and Site Leader, Monitoring and S&RC Philips India, Avinash Sinde, Head of Automation, Century Inca, Aditya Birla Group, B.N. Shukla, Senior Director of Operations, Jabil India, Sunny Singh, Head of Digital Manufacturing, Polycab India. Let's begin the panel discussion, the dawn of the cognitive factory. Please do join me in welcoming all the panel members on the stage. Thank you.
Namaskar, good afternoon. I should say good evening now. While we are settling in, I just want to tell you a story about a man called Ramesh. I met this gentleman, I think, a few years ago in Pune. This guy used to work, I won't name the company, but this guy used to work in a shop floor. He has been working for 22 years. 22 साल से वो काम कर रहा था वहाँ. Fantastic guy. Means he is a kind of operator, as we see on the shop floor, that उसको बोलते हैं ना, आवाज सुन के भी बता देगा कि अगले 3 दिन के बाद शायद वो मशीन खराब होने वाली है. He could say by just listening to the bearing that this machine could go wrong even before the sensor tells it. If he touches a machine, he could tell whether the machine is in what condition. He never read a manual, but that's how he developed this over the years. 1.5 साल पहले उनकी कंपनी ने एक सिस्टम लगाया which can automatically detect faults now. So I went there during a visit, and I was talking to him, and I asked him, how does he feel now with the new system? He was telling me, Sanjeev, what I could learn in 20 years, the new machine, this new system learned in 6 months. And he was quiet. Then he says, I'm proud that now we have such a good, highly efficient system. But at the same time, I'm scared. And honestly, until now, being proud and scared, both at the same time, I don't think that's a better expression to say state where we are today with the Indian manufacturing. And that's where I am today. I think I've been walking into these factories for many years now, and mostly not from running perspective, but helping them to measure it, sense it, see what they couldn't see, and to have that conversation that what I could have with him, I would like to have here, I think, today. Before we start, we all have a dream in this room, right? Each one of us have a dream. We want to see India as the #1 superpower in manufacturing. That's our dream, isn't it? How many of you have the same dream? I can see a lot of hands going there. That's the dream that we have. While we have that dream, we know what the reality is as well. I think Sir was talking about Indian manufacturing is mostly MSMEs. 60 to 70% contribution in our manufacturing is from small to medium-sized enterprises. And if you look at them, if you walk in most of these factories, you could see brilliant, talented engineers, but still we are doing a lot of stuff manually, which a sensor could do very automatically as well. We have got very hardworking plant heads, supervisors who are making decisions still in the midnight after usko bolte na koi WhatsApp pe aaya, gare yaar ye cheez, this has something gone wrong, and now he's making decision. We in the boardroom, or maybe in such a sophisticated environment, we talk about Industry 4.0, where in the factory, it may be still Industry 2.0. I don't know exactly. I'm just saying it's a jargon, but that's the reality. We have 18% of population in the world. Every 6% in the world is Indian. Our manufacturing output is only 3% of the world. Only 1/30th of the part of the manufacturing that we do in the world. That's the reality. That's the gap. And it's not because we don't have talented individuals. We have fantastic individuals. Sir was talking about somebody from Pune sitting in America, made that a drone, and that's the reality. So India is not because of the talent, it's not because that what we couldn't do, but that's where our state is. So same Ramesh, the question in front of us, that what he will do when the machine completely frees him up. So it's not a technology problem, it's a leadership problem. And that's where I'm very much delighted to have such a esteemed panel हमारे साथ जो actually shop floor पे काम किए हैं, who knows what's going on, who is building the technology for the future, and that's what we are going to discuss. We want to cut to the chase. जैसे बोलते हैं ना, शायद बहुत लोगों को अगर मैं cognitive word भी बोलूंगा तो वो पूछेंगे क्या है ये? What is cognitive, right? It's not about the English word, but what does that it really mean? So I think that's what I'm looking at this esteemed panel to walk into. So I have with me Dr. Uday Narang. I think he wakes up every day thinking, okay, how can I make the India the powerhouse in electrical vehicle and keeping at the Indian speed and keeping with the Indian constraint. We have Dr. Sandhya Pandey, I think, who has been building the future fact, but by including human into it. We have Mr. Bholanath Suklaji, I think, who is constantly growing this global powerhouse JBIL in India, where the scale is new intelligence. We have Mr. Joshi Ganesh Joshi, who is working to bring the intelligence to a workforce who may not even have touched a touch screen. We have with us Mr. Sunny Singh, who is working in such a traditional industry sector as simple and as important and specific as wire to make it even more smarter. And we have with us Mr. Vinod Bhatt, who's working for a large organization and ensuring that such a large organization starts to believe on machine and not just on the human instinct. So I'll start with Mr. Vinod as well. I think, sir, what can you tell us about a moment or a situation where you saw a system making its own decision, and how did you feel about that?
First of all, good afternoon, good evening. It's a pleasure and privilege to be part of this panel. I think before we answer that question, let us go back and see that what kind of disruption is happening. And is it good? Are we stuck in this? My personal belief is that this is the best time when you can make a change. And whenever computerization happened, whenever client server happened, whenever internet happened, these changes happened like that only. When whole banking system was getting computerized, people thought, as we just heard. So I believe that this is the best time to rewrite the rules. This is the best time to create the opportunities for ourselves and for the future generations. This is the best time to act. Because if you can't stand still and watch this happening, you have to be part of this change if you want to see the change. So this is important for us, and we should be very strategic, we should be tactical, we should be operational. So we need to have projects where we can define the digital infrastructure. Because we cannot live with the same machines. We're hearing their legacy machine from 60, 70 years. And yes, people have experience. We have to respect that sentiment. And we need to harness that knowledge. Important. And good news is that there are a lot of technologies available today where you can get that knowledge. And you yourself said that whatever was done in 20 years, it is done within 6 months. It may be, I'm telling you, I was in US, and the business which was set up by a traditional manufacturer there for more than 40 years. And there was a startup which took that business in 3 months. 3 months. So these changes are evident and it will happen. So I believe from India perspective, from manufacturing perspective, I think we need to go back and look at what is the impact for our enterprises. And there is no one silver bullet which will say that, you know what, if it has worked in X, it will work for Y. It doesn't work like that. Because priorities are different, objectives are different. But good thing is that there are ways to fix it, and we should not start with technology. We should not. I think we should look at the business, and I believe that this is the moment for us to make a difference.
Thank you, Doji. I think you brought a very pertinent point that it doesn't need to start with the technology. I want to go to Mr. Ganesh. I think you come from a sector which is FMCG, right? So want to understand, in that sector, is the change happening there as well? And or And how far has it happened? Thank you. So what's happening in your sector? At what pace it is happening?
Yeah, see, but thanks first of all to invite me and giving the opportunity here. And good evening, everyone. FMCG is a sector where actually now husband and wife are working together, and everyone would like to have a ready-made food available.
Yes.
How fast we should reach to the consumer, that is the test again. Test buds are being developed years together. It is not a single day. You can change the scenario. But in the manufacturing, if you would like to pace with the speed, then you need to adopt the technology. And the change is a constant, which Vinod already set a tone that we should be the part of the change. But manufacturing sector particularly, there is a high level of resistance when you go to the shop floor.
Yes.
And we should not fear about it. If you see the banking or financial sector, there is almost 80-85% automation. Whereas in the manufacturing, 15 to 20% we are there, and there is a room of 80% to change. In the manufacturing particularly, if you would like to say the subject, there is a sentient factory. So these are the jargons, but if you correlate with the human organ, sense organ, right? We have a 5 sense organ wherein we should identify. There is a vision, there is a camera in the factory. We have to correlate all our organs with the factory, and then you have to find out the use case. Where could I start with, and which will add the value to my particular industry. I think this is the and high impact project should be taken so that organization also should be able to benefit out of it. Then sensors are there. Sentiment means all the sensors will work like your touch feel screen. And suppose you would like to start the quality and all those things, then probably the camera is the first use case which is already installed everywhere. So you can have a small use cases where the identification of the quality testing, then security. These are the things actually we have to start with the small and give the impact so that the automation will work and we can give the real impact to the organization.
So I think, as you rightly said, find out the areas where we can show the impact.
Right.
And then that will drive the change forward.
Right.
So now I think we heard from two people who were from quite a big data kind of sectors. I want to move to Dr. Naran. I think you are a founder. You started things from scratch, right? But you didn't have anything legacy. You didn't have any machines to retrofit. So you had a blank, clean sheet of paper. Did it make easy to build such a cognitive factory, or in your experience, there were larger, bigger, tougher decisions which you discovered that had nothing to do with the technology at all?
Look, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. Great for manufacturing today to be, to build to have such great, events. Really liked your initial input, and that was going to bring great energy to the panel. Look, I think, for me, in my 35 years in business, building an OEM is probably one of the toughest battles. I tell a lot of young startups, what's the easiest way from becoming a millionaire, from a billionaire? Make an OEM, right? So it's not an easy, when the EV business started, we've been in the game about 9 years now. A lot of people thought, well, we'll just make a prototype and we'll just raise funding and we'll make the next Bajaj. It's absolutely impossible, right? There's only one entry and there's no exit. So my view right now is that, you have to be able to, look long-term. You've got to be able to have long-term capital. You have to have, a very long-term vision if you want to make scale. If you don't get scale, you're not going to be able to achieve anything. And we through the journey, we made a lot of mistakes. We learned a lot. I think that It's not just only about, systems, cognitive skills. It's about building a brand. It's about, a lot of people had a lot of money and they were still not successful. I can give you enough names in the two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler who raised a lot of money but never able to get success. So I think it's building good products. It is building a supply chain. It is about customer service. It is a combination of all of that that will lead to a successful OEM. Obviously, technology is changing. At the time when we started, there were not enough, suppliers in the system. There was not enough. There was cell battery prices were a lot higher. A lot of things have changed. But one thing is very important right now. The biggest issue facing India is energy independence. And for us, if we don't follow energy independence, and so EVs, alternate fuels, this is the most important agenda. Obviously, Mr. President in the United States wakes up on one side of the day, even in the morning and night, he changes his mind. And I think he says, I'm going to bomb, then I'm going to love him, and then I'm going to bomb him. Forget about all that. Energy prices are going to stay high. And I think, we've got to be able to build our country where, you said I have a vision. I'm a big Martin Luther King fan. I have a vision that this country is energy independent. That is even more important. When we got into this journey, it was about green energy sustainability. Today, it is about energy sustainability, having energy independence. I think that's the most important agenda of our country. Work from home, not traveling abroad, not buying gold. That's not going to sort anything out, right? What's going to sort things out is to be able to build us energy. And we've got to, and I keep saying, I'm sorry, I'm answering questions, but I want to raise some important points. The most important point is how much money is our country spending on R&D? Yes. How much money? 0.6% of GDP. It's probably one of the lowest. I mean, today in the United States, when it opens up, we're going to have a company whose market cap is going to be over probably 1.8 to 1.9 trillion because they spend money on R&D. I'm talking about SpaceX, right? So I think all of this is extremely important.
No, absolutely. You hit the nail that we spend still less than 0.6% on R&D. And one of the challenges has been for us in India that, and one thing that needs to change is that how do we build products keeping global in mind? Not build products, okay, it's a good enough, chalta hai, yahan pe customer, yahan pe itna hi paisa milega. Because if we put our scale low, we can never be globally competitive. And look at, I think, even in this panel, a lot of companies are foreign companies. That's a reality. That's a reality. That is still, if we do not aim to produce globally competitive products, it is going to be very, very challenging. So you have brought a very important point. You talked about scale. I'll go to Mr. Shukla as well, I think, who knows everything about scale, every scale doubles, triples that's happening. So I want to understand from you that how do you keep up with that scale demand? Second, how are these technologies? We keep talking about, okay, like agentic AI or AI or, so I really want to understand what's happening on the shop floor in the manufacturing where you're making these components, which is really helping you to meet the demand for larger scale. आज 100 इस घंटे में 100 बनाना था, अगले घंटे में फिर 150 बनाना है. So what's happening? What's changing?
Thank you very much, Sujata, for inviting us and making the part of this eminent panel. And Sanjeev, you are doing fantastic job bringing energy to the discussion. I think very relevant question when India is entering in the manufacturing sector, which is growing almost 30 to 40% year on year. And when you are growing in the manufacturing and scaling the operations, the most important thing comes is the skill availability. Now, when you talk about skill availability, India has been like a country of the software and designs and everything, but we never thought of scaling the manufacturing. Yeah. And when we are scaling the manufacturing and you are not having the skill manpower available who understand the manufacturing from day one, huge investment happening in the skill. So what we are doing as a global company, having like almost 140 factories across 25 countries and revenue size of 35 billion. And in India, like we are growing like every year, doubling the operation. We face same challenge that where to find the resource which is going to start delivering the result from day one. Now, whether I should invest in the developing the skill, or I should find out something like which can do my repetitive task, something which can give the unsafe operations, something which can do the dirty operations, and utilize the skill, develop the skill who can help me to optimize those things. And that is where comes the factory automation, connected factory, you call is the cognitive factory, the buzzword. And when you start using these tool, and that is where operational efficiency comes. And when I talk about operational efficiency, it is like how fast my system is. First is the automation. So far in India, like we have been talking whole automotive industry, the automation. But automation works in the isolation. You have to make it connected. And that is where cognitive factory is coming in picture. How operations can sense, diagnose, and decide, and then respond, right? So that response basically help us as a operations leader, like, and the people on the shop floor, that they are quick decision making is happening. And then the volume you are talking, like how to double the operations, because you are bringing the speed through these systems and connected factory, and decisions are made fast, and then you hit all the volumes and ramp ups and everything, right? And as a global company, like we have like a connected factory where equipment is talking to each other, and we call it self-healing lines,
right?
Where my one process is performing the task, another is checking, like using AI enabled devices or cameras my friend was talking about. And then if something is normal, immediately giving the feedback to my another machine which is producing it.
Right.
And that is correcting automatically the problem, which is error which has occurred before it is converted into defect. And that is where we're preventing the inefficiencies and bringing the speed to the execution. So there is a lot to talk about, but again, like taking a time, I give back to you.
Exactly. So I think you brought the point of a decision making. So sometimes machine makes a decision, and usually us human used to make a decision. So I want to come to Madam. You have spent 25 years across various continents, and you have been in these all years, various factory flows, various different types of production flows. You have seen a lot of decisions being made. Some has worked and some may not have worked, right? I want us to shift the conversation to the other part, which is the human part. And a lot of these decisions would invariably have some impact on the roles of individual, either roles getting changed, redeployed. So what is in terms of how the decision making should happen, number one. Number two, who do you think is morally responsible for this? Is it the algorithm that is making change, or is it the CXO who is making a decision, or is the system which has trained both of them? What's your view, madam, on that?
Actually, this is a very ground level problem. Thanks for inviting me. It's a very futuristic subject. But let me bring down to the ground level. And I'm sure all of you are from the manufacturing plant operations kind of things. I also coming from the plant operations. And every day morning, when you enter into the shop floor, what you will look at the first? You look at the dashboard, all three shifts, how much is the production, what is the machine downtime, why that machine is down, what is the PPM, right? Your quality things and all those things. And now you see there is a parity between all these parameters, and something is not made as per your target. Okay, these are our day-to-day life, right? This is our reality situations. Someday you will see the machine is down, you are not able to meet your production number. Someday production is done, but it is getting rejected into the quality. Some parameter is missing. and I am not able to meet my production quantity, right? So this is our real life in our shop floor, right? Now, how do we make the decisions to make this all my factory parameters work, right? That is where the all technology comes into picture, right? And then what is your strategy to address any of this problem, right? That's where your decision making comes into picture. Now that's where your data comes into picture. I started looking at that in last 4 weeks. What was impacting on my production numbers? Is it a maintenance, uptime of the machines, or the quality on my machine? Then we started looking at, okay, maintenance is a challenge. Then I need to look into what I can do for the maintenance. Why I am bringing to the real time? Every technology deployment, every technology which you want to bring to the deployment has to solve your business problem. And that is the first criteria you have to take, whether you deliver the technology, whether you deliver the automation, or whether you deliver the lot of data points in that. And when you get the data, it is very, very important that how you getting those data, because you are driving the decisions based on what data you are getting. And it is also important that data is one intelligence. There is another intelligence which is there on the ground. That is the human intelligence, right? I will again bring back to the reality of the situation. If production numbers today, how are you calculating your production numbers, and how 20 years back, how I was calculating the production number, right? It was all on the register, right? The person used to write with the pen and pencil how many he produced in that particular day. Remember that actually on the machine, there used to be a chart. Every day the fresh chart used to be pasted. He will write down on the machine. That has been changed to the Excel sheet. That has been changed to the automatic capturing of the data from the machine. Now you have a data. The form of the data is different. Earlier, the decision used to be made looking at the sheets, calculating manually what was my figure, what was my target, why it has not happened. Today, the same decision is being made by collecting the data which is coming automatically, putting into the AI learning, calculating the final figures, and finding out where the decision is, where the gap is, and then deciding the decision. Both way, you are making the decision. But now who is taking where? And that is where your question is. Who is making the decision? Is my data is making the decision, or my human being is the making decision? My answer to this, and being able to deploy this kind of technology in the various scenario, my answer is both has to work collaboratively to make the decision. It is not only the data who can make the decision. The data intelligence is equally important along with the human intelligence to make the decisions. Your data will tell that your bearing is failing. Your data will tell that you have to change the bearings. Human intelligence will decide when, how, where I need to change the bearing. Your data will tell you, your IoT sensors will tell you that your motor is making wrong noise. Your motor needs to be repairing. Your motor needs the maintenance. Your human intelligence will take out that machine, do the maintenance, make the necessary changes, and put it back onto the machine. This is very important. When it comes to the deploying of the technology in overall shop floor, it is very difficult in the Indian condition. And sorry about me telling that we are not deploying the technology end-to-end technology. But in Indian condition, our technology are deployed into the pockets. And it is very important that how those cells or those pockets are effectively working to give you the desired business. And that's where the decision making comes from the human intelligence. You need to find it out where I need to take the decision based on my data intelligence. So it is a collaborative decision making. None of the data can give you the alone decisions. Neither the human can take decisions in the current situation. Both has to work together. It is a collaborative decision making.
Thank you. I think the same. Really everybody. Human is not going out of the loop, and that's the reality.
Absolutely, absolutely. Every technology, and in fact, the Industry 5.0 or the cognitive factory, the whole basis of that is human-assisted technology.
Exactly.
You are not taking out the human from any scenario. It's always a human-assisted. So human intelligence is coupled with everything what you do into the cognitive factory, and it has to be human-assisted factory.
Now, thank you for bringing that important point. I want to go to Sunny. You talked about very much fundamental. I am going to somebody who isn't as fundamental industry as cables and wires. So Sunny, I think as we all know, I think typically the manufacturing of cables have not drastically changed in last, say, 50 years. So what does, say, cognitive, or what does it really mean in terms of that industry sector? Are we talking about the mindset, or as madam was talking about, how do we use the data to make certain decision, or is it about the change in the product itself, what it is?
Thank you. Thank you for this question. Good evening, everyone. Yes, cable manufacturing per se has not changed a lot, but let me say like this, we have changed, the way we used to produce a certain product. So my company is not only manufacturing cables and wires, while the main portfolio is cables and wire, they're also into FMEG and various other solutions linked to it. They're also, part of it is services, which now the product is changing into services, where the EHV and other segments are going to services model, where they'll be installing it and monitoring it, and having a subscription based system. Apart from this, let me give you a brief about how cable and wires are manufactured. You'll have to have some raw material. Most of it is imported. If it is copper, aluminum, and various other insulating chemicals, which are also part of our manufacturing facility. So end to end, if you say, there will be around 5 to 6 stages. And what I can tell you, the way we used to produce maybe 10 years back, and the way we are targeting to produce maybe 10 years after, we are going to optimize our scrap by, let's say, 90%.
Wow.
So this is a big number. Why I'm saying this? Because in cable and wires, and most of you, if you are linked to metal and mining or LME, if you're monitoring it, the cost of the wire, 75% is metal and the input material. Conversion cost is very less. Industry benchmark is around 6%, 7%, something like that. So even a fraction of saving with respect to scrap and other things has a big impact on your top line and bottom line. What we are doing, so in India, cable and wire is built by my company, but we are going beyond it. And of course, there are challenges, and those challenges are coming from 3 different fronts: people, process, and technology. And let me say like this, it is the people aspect where we have them in the loop, maybe for the decision making, have them co-build it with you, have them own it and sustain it for a longer period of time, because the technology layer will be same. If you are doing it for cameras, as my colleague was explaining, we are having a different use case, but the technology layer is same. So what I'm trying to say is, we are trying our best to merge and have the synergy between people, process, and technology. And I believe almost all the industry is doing the same thing. And with respect to what has changed at this point of time, what we are trying to do, we are all hit by energy. Okay, so energy is also, let's say, 2 to 3%, including resources and other things, which has a potential to optimize. I'll give you, a brief about it. Let's say, when you are going for economy of scale, which India is known for, India and China is known for, we are less into economy of scope, which is for focusing on niche product. So when you're producing maybe 100 tons, there is X amount of energy, X amount of people, X amount of space, and X amount of cost will be required. But when you're doing it for maybe 10 times, 1,000, there will be definitely X1, Y1, different, and that number will be higher than 100. But the per unit cost of that material has to come down. Okay, and in terms of this, we are seeing that with respect to all the operational KPI, be it cost per ton, cost per kilometer, energy, people time, man hours required to build it, we all can optimize this by 30% minimum, on an average basis. And this is already proven. There is a model called DuPont operation model, which says that if you are producing same amount of, product, be it, chemicals, cables, maybe numbers of switches. If you are doing the same thing, if you are able to optimize your OEE, which is a very standard KPI, I believe, monitored at all the facility, you will be able to have at least 2x, 3x impact on your ROCE and profitability. If you are able to optimize your OEE by 10 points, if it is, let's say, 80, if you're able to move to 90, you'll be able to make an impact 2x, 3x, at least on your ROCE and profitability. This is a big number. And we are also trying to do the same thing. We are right now we are believing that we are in the transition state. And almost all Indian companies are focused on scale. But of course, we do have our aspiration to be more like international company, which is focused on quality. When we experience this day in, day out, when we are exporting the product to foreign customers, EPC companies in Australia and US, we do find that that stringent regime of quality, and that is not possible by human being. So of course we need the leverage from the technology and human being in collaboration, and of course automate our process in a way which helps to achieve that thing.
And that's an important point. So I think I come back, Dr. Narayan brought a very important point in the beginning, that we have to recognize we have a lot of challenges in India, right? And then only we will be able to make a progress. So as we know, that technology can play a role of biggest leveler sometimes. And so do you and I want an honest answer, because you have a founder, you have built a company from the scratch, and some of us have taken from a base to another base. So in all honesty, do you see a glimmer of hope with this advancement in AI, or whatever we call agentic AI, that can make a level playing field, and that can help India to at least come to a level of some of the other advanced economies?
I'll always be honest. I don't know any other way. Honestly, if we don't, and I want to answer this, all of this is good. Technology is good.
Yeah.
Data analysis is good. I'll tell you one most important thing. If we don't invest in R&D, we are going nowhere, right? We just are not, because without R&D investment, I think this country needs to focus. There has to be massive tax breaks given on people that are doing R&D, whether it is an MNC, whether it's a startup, whether it's whoever. I think that's an extremely, and to answer your question, I think AI can be your best friend. Robotics can be your best friend. But how does, and let's talk reality. Let's not talk about sitting. You asked me for an honest answer.
Yes.
I'm going to give you. जो एक छोटी कंपनी में 20 या 25 men and women के साथ काम कर रहा है, वो AI में कहाँ से इन्वेस्ट करेगा, राइट? उसको क्या इंसेंटिव मिल रहा है, वो ग्लोबल स्केल में कैसे काम कर सकता है? Okay, big Polycab's a massive company, great company. They can invest, no problem. They can do this for 10, 15, 20 years. But India is not just only about Adanis and Ambanis and Polycabs and all of them. There are, you go to, my journey has taken me to tier 2, 3, 4 cities. I go to villages. A guy living from Zug, Switzerland, to, some of these villages that I don't even know about, but I tell you, for there, we're still a long way behind. And for them to get to AI and Elon talking about putting power stations in Mars, that's a completely different ballgame, right? And I think we have to start, we have the men and women in this country who are smart. The women are even more smarter than the guys any day of the week, not because you're sitting next to me, man, but that is a reality. And I'll tell you what, they work more efficient, and the Nari Shakti is 48% of our country. And if we're not going to take them ahead, we're never going to get ahead. I'm only going to, and because you asked me to speak honestly, I'm going to speak. I think AI can be big benefit. We have a lot of young, smart men and women in this country. We can use technology in our benefit. I want Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadellas to stay here, not go to the United States, build companies right here. It's a great, great country. It's got a great opportunity. But until and mark my words, if we cannot spend money on R&D, and we cannot think of a 5 to 10 year plan. हम लोग यही घूमते रहेंगे. And I'll be honest, biryani startups and gig workers are never going to make India great again. It makes, I love Zepto and I love Zomato and I love all of that. अरे यार क्या स्कूटर में मोटरसाइकिल में लोगों को भगा के क्या कंट्री को बड़ा बनाओगे? छोड़ो. That's not reality, right? And I'll be honest, nothing against biryani startups and all of this other stuff. Focus on AI, robotics, space, technology, focus on, precision engineering and work on building global products. Work on that. तभी बनेगा देश, नहीं तो नहीं बनेगा. हम लोग बातें ही करते रहेंगे.
नहीं, I 110% agree that reality यही है. And if you don't accept the reality, we will not be able to change. So it's a good point you brought. We have got a very good panel. What do you think, madam, is the barrier to not invest in R&D? Even I haven't been able to understand. What do you think is the barrier?
Okay, it's a difficult question. But I will give my own perspective. Many years, we were at a receiving end, right? Technology receiving end. As a simple example I will give. I worked with Hindustan Motors. While working for Hindustan Motor, the technology is given by the Morris garage, right? After that, was Hindustan Motor able to develop the technology to take the car to the next level? No, not. Right? Take the example of other Indian manufacturers. How long it took them to bring the first Scorpio in the market or first Indica in the market, right? This is a reality, right? We all agree with that. The question is, how do we turn the table? And if you see from last 25 years, it is changing. It's not that we are not investing into that. We have to step up that investment, but it is changing. Now we are launching the global products from India, right? That is a very, very good sign. However, it is not yet sufficient because we are still not creating that skill in India. Our universities are still a factory, not producing the creative people, not producing the technology oriented people. We are just giving them the degree, a paper. We are not giving them the knowledge. We are not giving them the opportunity to create on their own. And that's where the skill university will very, very necessary to really bring that skill in the market, and then they can focus on the universities. My honest answer to this, that we as a human skill is not sufficient enough to develop the products which Uday sir is expecting. We have to build the creativity, we have to build the skills, we have to build the intelligence, human intelligence, through our education system, that will come through our university, and then we have to give them the opportunity. And it feels me very sorry that when I talk to a lot of students who are 10th and 11th class, everybody want to work into the computer engineering. Nobody want to work into the mechanical industry. Nobody want to work in electrical industry. How do we build the R&D?
Ma'am, you incentivize, today's, see, problem क्या है? हम लोग गलत चीजों में इंसेंटिवाइज कर रहे हैं. आपको इंसेंटिवाइजेशन करना पड़ेगा. और अगर हम अपनी कंट्री की नहीं सोचेंगे, मैम चाइना को देखिए. चाइना पिछले 50 सालों में कहां पहुंच गई? वो भी बैकवर्ड थी, लेकिन हम वहीं अटके हुए हैं. So we cannot, and ये गवर्नमेंट नहीं करे.
I fully understand your frustration, but this is a reality. But as an industry, we have to take the initiative to build that resources, that workforce, which can come to the industry and build the R&D products, next generation products. I take the ownership as an industry. I take that ownership, and every industry has to take that ownership to create the workforce who can focus on the R&D.
I have some different view on this, because India is, from last one decade, we have transformed rather, right? Digital payment, India is #1 in the world. Internet speed and the cost is just lesser in the world. So a lot of transformation is happening, and I think it is a journey. Artificial intelligence, we will be data rich country, and we will be #1 in the artificial intelligence. This is what actually.
But the point is right. In 1980, India's GDP was $150 billion. You tell me what was China's 1980? Anybody? Similar. $150 billion India, $150 billion China. Today, India is $4.2 trillion. Where is China? $17 trillion. What has happened? So it's for us to introspect, but I completely agree. There's certain things that we have done well, like Y2K problem helped us to do very well in the knowledge sector. So how do we leverage that? How do we leverage this? The COVID has again brought us some, ironically, some really good things so that we have certain demands in certain sector. So how do we use that capacity demand? How do we leverage some of the skill set, and how do we build on the new workforce? So, but we have to be practical and realistic as well, what we can and what we cannot achieve.
Yes, we have to set
And
the
one last
example.
point from me. Bringing a new digital product is not good enough to turn around the R&D scenario in industry, right? Digital products are definitely required. UPI payment and all those things are definitely required. AI is definitely required. But where are you going to put those AI applications? You need those physical products. And developing the physical product in R&D is very, very important. I fully agree with that, though that is not the subject today for the discussion. But yes, we have to invest on R&D.
Yep. So quick one, like we started with manufacturing, came to R&D. So I have been working with the government on various fronts very closely, and I see India has transformed in last 10 years. I have different opinion. If somebody says R&D is not invested, I want to say in electronics, almost 40% of chip are designed in India, but we were never manufacturing it. Now,
I think that's a classic example. So electronic manufacturing sector, we all know India is right now making 55 million iPhones, right?
Right.
And if you look at the changes happened in last 4 years, 55 million iPhones, 9% is our consumption, rest we ship it to the US. So there is some success story.
Yeah. So let me continue. Like the chip manufacturing when I'm talking, that is hardcore design. Sitting people in the Bangalore, in the Pune, they are doing for the world. But as a country, we are not able to bring the brand, which can be, we say proudly, it is designed in India. Now government has given a lot of incentive for the startup. But what we are doing? We are bringing Ola app. We are bringing Blinkit. Okay, they are becoming familiar, popular because they are solving human problem. But what we are researching when we have been given these incentive by the government for the startup, whether we are solving the complex Indian problem, people problem, which we are struggling as a country, right? So the things which has solved the problem, they have been like gone like anything. And second is like when we are talking about quality, when we design a lot of MSME, small scale comes, give me the business. I have this design, but what quality you are bringing? At what cost you are bringing?
Exactly.
So if you are not bringing the quality, nobody, you cannot wake up as a designer and then we blame like government is not doing this. So there is a lot of stuff. I can tell you hundreds of examples where there is money invested by the company. There is support from the government. It is we as an industry have to take the call, design something which solves human problem, design something which is sustainable and quality product.
Thank you very much. I know that we can go on and go on and go on about, because that's the depth of the knowledge this panel has. Before we wrap up, I'd like to take one question from the audience. Like, at least, anybody has any question, please? Yes, please, sir. Anybody can pass.
My name is Sandeep. My question is that in spite of all the benefits that the AI is bringing to the human mankind and so on, what are the checkpoints that we can place so that it cannot be misused? Because we have seen how the AI has been misused when US attacked Iran and so on. So the same way, if somebody has the administrative access to a factory operations, how we can put some checkpoints and stop that person to do the wrong activities in the plant.
Anybody wants to take that?
I think excellent question, and this is one of the big worry when we are talking about deployment of AI and automation and everything. And to be very frank, I was talking to Sanjeev when we were sitting there before coming to this conference. I was sitting in the conference room and talking to my guy who is deploying worldwide AI processes and systems and what are the stack available. This was one of the worry point we were discussing. And that is where comes the how you set the governance process. As a Jabil, we have like worldwide, we have set centralized governance council who basically reviews all the system and processes we are using and ensuring our customer data is secure. And secondly, like you see the data center boom, why that is coming? Because now the people are migrating. Earlier we started with like having the common cloud, right? Now we are migrating to having the data center. Now we are migrating to have our own data center where we store our own data and we are not giving access to anybody else. But this required huge investment and long journey for India. Because this is huge, and you will see the data center boom which is coming to India. Everybody is talking about Google, Amazon, Facebook, everybody is setting data center. Why? Because they see a big market here having 1.4 billion population, and data governance is going to drive the people owning the data center. And that will happen, but of course, tough journey where the low cost country like India is there because huge investment is needed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, please. Okay,
I will give the to-the-point answer to your question, right? In Industry 4.0, right, where cognitive factory we are discussing, one of the dimension of that is called as a data security or the cyber security, right? When you are giving access to the people, when AI or you are learning to the teaching to the AI, this is the first thing you need to deploy, that how your AI should be used by whom, where, and to what extent. And that's where the data security and the cyber security and the access control comes into picture. If you are not using that, you should not go ahead by implementing all your technologies or your AI related applications in the factory.
Last word from
Cyber
Mr.
security,
Ganesh.
data security is very important.
I think security is a never-ending topic, but you should have to have a backup and business continuity plan along with that. I think that is more important. If anything fails, how can I continue the business or continue restore it?
Yes, please.
See, Sandeep, AI has to be embedded in every process. If you are doing coding, AI is there. And we didn't talk about the ethical AI today at all.
Yes.
That was one of the topics that when you talk about bias, drift, ethical, that's what we'll address. Plus the AI governance. Every company should have an AI policy. You start from there. And then you put the controls. In fact, your auditor's work has changed. They cannot do the audit same way. We were talking about humans in the loop and all. No. It is part of that process.
So thank you. I know that it's a right note. It's never ending. But as we have seen, there's still a lot of topics we have not covered. However, we have got certain breaks coming up. इतने सारे इसको क्या बोलते हैं ज्ञान का भंडार है. जब ज्ञान का भंडार है तो ज्ञान लूट लीजिए. So I think you will have lots of time to discuss on that. Before we wrap up, I would like to really thank my esteemed panel. Big round of applause for you guys. I think I know समय कम था, the time we had the paucity of the time. However, उसमें भी आपने जितना दिया, I think I'm very sure even एक word, एक sentence, एक phrase भी काफी important रहेगा. Big round of applause to yourself. I think you all have been active. Thank you to Sujata and manufacturing today. And I would also like to thank my head of marketing, Rahul, and Manisha. She was the one who basically helped me put together what should I and how should I be navigating them. So thank you very much. I think with all the conversation that we had, India में बहुत potential है, immense potential है, and we can be the number one in the world. However, we just have to accept where we are, be practical, be realistic, work collaboratively. और एक रामधारी सिंह दिनकर की एक कविता मुझे याद आती है, सदियों से बुझी ठंडी राख सुदगुदा रही, जमीन मिट्टी जमीन सोने का ताज पहन इठला रही है, दो राह समय के रथ का घर घर नाद सुनो, Singhasan khali karo, janta aa rahi hai. And that's where we are in India today. We are going to rock the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would request all the panelists to kindly please remain on the stage. Thank you once again. May I call up on Sujata Vishnuraj to felicitate all of our panel members. Thank you once again to all of our panelists for inspiring us to think bigger, act smarter, and lead the future. And I think your lines have really inspired me personally. Your permission, may I share something? Yes. कहते हैं नजर को तो नजारे बदल जाते हैं, नजर को बदलो तो नजारे बदल जाते हैं, सोच को बदलो तो सितारे बदल जाते हैं. कश्ती बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है दोस्त, दिशाओं को बदलो तो किनारे बदल जाते हैं. So thank you very much once again. May I request Sujata ma'am to kindly please do felicitate all of our panelists. What we heard today wasn't just a discussion, it was a glimpse into the future of manufacturing and innovation. Thank you very much once again. Moving ahead, we are delighted to invite a partner, Tata Communications, to take the stage and share their perspective on the evolving industry landscape. May I request Milind Deshpande, Vice President, Manufacturing Industry Propositions, Tata Communications, to the stage. Welcome.
Good evening. First of all, thank you so much to the organizers for this opportunity. I think I could not have asked for a better discussion, right? I think it is full of technology, factory, the manufacturing, and the knowledge that was shared by this panel was phenomenal. Tata Communications, as most of you would know, is a tech company. So my few slides, not more than 10 minutes, would be little technical but manufacturing specific. Tata Communications is a digital infrastructure company. It's leading that space. When I say digital infrastructure, it includes your network, your data centers, the cloud, and all kinds of digital infrastructure that's required. And okay, when we're talking about AI is here to stay. I don't think there is any doubt in anybody's mind, but there are discussions happening. Is AI a bubble? Right? It's going to burst at some point of time. That's one extreme. The other extreme is AI is going to take over the world. Right? That's the two extremes. But nobody knows what's going to happen. Right? But everybody agrees AI is here to stay. Where it will end, I mean, it's a debate in itself. But having said that, I just want to spend a minute or so talking about what is AI ecosystem, as it's famously called as 5 layers of AI cake. Right? Fundamentally, it requires huge amount of energy. Right? And if you want to set up AI data centers, you want to run huge compute, you need enormous power that is required. The second one is the chipsets, and we spoke about it. India is investing in, obviously, AI data centers. There is TCS has gone into that. Google has come in. The Reliance has gone in. So there's a lot of AI data centers. Second one is around the chipsets that are required. Again, India is investing in R&D. India is actually taking big steps to make sure that we are self-reliant and we don't have to rely outside, including Tata Electronics, and there are many more companies who are investing in this. Third one is very critical, which is the infrastructure. I think that is where probably we need to focus a little bit more. I think there's a lot of work that's happening in this space in India. But having said that, we are still, as I think in the panel discussion, probably Vinod mentioned, we are still running the legacy infrastructure. When you look at the networks, the servers, the center, I think still we are using that. But I think there's a bit of work that needs to be done by all of us from the industry. The fourth one is the models, right? The LLM models that are required. And all of us have started using it as at a personal level as well as at the professional level, right? In our offices, ChatGPTs, Google Gemini and all that, that's happening. And India is also taking a lead in terms of companies like Sarvam, Jani. There are many companies who have started building these models. I'm sure it's just a matter of time when we take the lead there. The fifth one is the applications, right? Where actually all of us, right, as factories, whether it is retail, it's banks, all of us want to use the AI, and that's where the applications is. And this is a strength of India, right? This is where we have the powerhouse. So when you look at India, our strength is on the top with all the application layer that, right, that we have built over a period of time. We have fantastic knowledge. So, but what is that causing us, right? We have become an AI consumer economy, right? Because we are working primarily on the top. We are consuming all the other layers and mostly being done currently for different countries. I think if you really want to be a AI producer company, we really need to invest in the rest of the layers, especially the infrastructure. With that brings to how AI can help us, right? How powerful is AI for anybody? AI is as powerful as the infrastructure beneath it, okay? Because when you look at this chart, it shows iceberg, where we have been talking about and doing some work in digital twin. We are working on predictive ops and all that is happening. But underneath, when you look at, and all of us in this room are intimately involved with the manufacturing processes, what's happening in the factory, on the shop floors, right? What is very clear is things are happening in silos. I think that was discussed in the panel as well. There are automation that has happened. Data is not come together. There are different systems. They don't talk to each other. Fragmented OT is completely different. IT is completely different. They're not talking to each other. There are multiple data centers, clouds, workloads are running in different clouds. Then there are a lot of AI-related investment that are happening as we speak in manufacturing space. But mostly our experience has been, there have been either POCs or pilot. And they have been successful. But if you want to really scale it, if you've done a pilot for one line, if you want to do it for 10 lines, or if you want to do it for 5 factories, I think the moment you start scaling it, I think it starts falling down. I think that's been general experience. Infrastructure needs to be agile. And one of the very critical thing for us is the network, right? You really need low latency, high speed network to transmit all this data. You need high compute to process this data and give the results in seconds or milliseconds for that matter. So this is sort of a current state of affairs. I'm not saying I don't want to paint everybody in the single brush, but this is generally the industry where we are. But when you look at the future, what is future looks like and where we should be, really AI core is something we should be looking at. I think what we need to do is we need to bring all of that together, whether it is the hybrid intelligent connectivity. I mean, for example, if you look at a manufacturing a firm, a factory, right, a plant, you have the fiber connectivity, you have Wi-Fi 6, you have private 5G, there is LoRa connectivity, and they're all used for different purposes, right? There are different use cases. How can intelligently, seamlessly manage all of that connectivity together instead of managing it together? Scalable edge to cloud, and edge to cloud is a big deal because most of the data that is getting generated, enormous amount of data is getting generated through sensors, the OT assets, that needs to be processed locally within the factories, right? That's where edge comes in. But how do you, instead of localize the data, how do you make it of the global organization? Edge to cloud is a very important thing. So without going into each one of that, I think unification of data foundation, you bring all the data security together, makes a big difference in terms of your managing your infrastructure, your factory operations. And this is where Tata Communications actually have thought through, and we have a platform which we have built, and I'll quickly show you the glimpse of that, but we have a booth back. The demo is available. Please spend a few minutes to see the demo. where we are bringing, when as you see it, we have a network, right? All kinds of connectivity that you require. OT analytics, all the data that sensors are getting, how do you analyze that data in real time? The digital twin, based on the data you are getting, how can you create a digital twin, look at the things that are happening in your shop floor in real time? OT security is a big thing because some of the incidents we have seen recently in a global platform, there's a lot of vulnerability happening through the OT security. How can you do that? And then there are many use cases like how do you ensure that worker safety is taken care of? The video analytics which was spoken about, the cameras, how can you make use of the data? And obviously some of the automotive companies and pharma companies, the retail manufacturing firms, how can you engage with consumers and the dealers? That's the interaction. So what we have done, we have brought all of this as Factory 360 at the edge. So this, what you see here is essentially all is packaged on one server, and you actually can deploy it in your factory, which can get connected to your cloud, and you will have full visibility, not only the particular plant or factory, but across the factories that you have within the region or across the globe. And clearly, I think these are the numbers which are indicative in terms of productivities. And I think we spoke about the OEE, and which will have a massive impact on your overall financials of the firm. Cyber security is important. Sustainability through lower energy costs. You can actually two ways, right? The multiple benefits of managing the energy costs. Workforce safety is very important in a plant. So there are many value that we can deliver to this. And again, right? So when we say it's a completely packaged, a platform that we have, there are many use cases. There are many KPIs, performance indicators that are measured, right? How do you, whether it is successful or not? Primarily productivity, sustainability, reliability, quality, safety and security, and enterprise. What we have done is we have identified all these KPIs and we have pre-packaged in our Factory 360 platform. So when you deploy this Factory 360 platform, we would be able to quickly kind of configure and make it very relevant for you, for your environment, very specifically in your factory on the edge, which can be connected to the cloud. All right, so this is how it looks like, and I would request all of you to spend a few minutes at our booth, but I'll give you a glimpse of what this looks like. What you see here on the screen is a single pane of glass for you, right? What you see is your factory. It has a capability to create zones because factories are typically large. You can create particular zones there, and you can actually go within the zone for real-time asset tracking. What's happening with the specific asset, and how IT and OT can come together, what vulnerabilities you are seeing, what are the alarms that are there, and it can actually predict and tell you. It doesn't control or change anything, but it will give you the full visibility, but it also gives a recommendation in terms of what needs to be done as next step, right? So that's where it is. And then this is how a quick minute or a minute 90 seconds video, this is how it looks like. What you see here is all the parameters, all your plants there. You want to enter into digital twin, it actually opens your factory. We can actually take your CAD drawings and create a 3D view of that. And then it actually shows, right, what is the total power consumption today, what compare it by the day, there are other productivity metrics, right, and then throughputs, right? It's all actually giving you in real time, near real time, I would say. And then so you actually all this can be customized based on what KPIs that you have. So when you look at, there are multiple zones you can create. For example, this is a water treatment, I think, zone, where you have each of the assets, and each of those, what you see is a sensor, that's an asset. And you click on that, and it actually will show you in real time what the parameters look like for each of that. For example, the asset thickener is an example. So when you go here, you actually can look at the vibration, what soil pressure, the dosing part, the parameters, different parameters. So it's all actually kind of showing you in real time. And this is something, we have adapters, we have connectors through which we pull the data, and we are not disturbing what you have in the factories. Okay, we are actually just hooking in and getting into your assets, getting the data, and we are actually analyzing it, and then actually creating a visual representation of that. And this is for the Mumbai plant here, for example, and similarly it can be done for multiple plants at the same time. For example, this is a good example of how a network, IT and OT is speaking about, right? for example, a machine goes, slows down, you don't know whether it is a network problem, whether it is a system, machine problem. Actually, it will actually show which switch is connected to which asset, and you can actually track where the root cause is going to be. Right, we have the asset library, so actually you can click on specific asset, which machine that you have in the factory, you click on it and it will actually show you all the parameters that currently it is running with. Yeah, so I think this is a very brief view, but we have a detailed demo available. And thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope we'll work together in future. Thank you.
Thank you. And now it's time to shift gears and explore another fascinating dimension of smart manufacturing. We all have been bombarded with one word, and that is data, right? So it's time to explore data to decisions, driving operational efficiency through advanced. Let's dive into the next panel discussion. Our second panel this evening gets into the mechanics. Having a sentient factory is one thing, but the intelligence is only as good as the decisions it drives. This panel looks at how manufacturers are closing the loop between data and action, breaking down silos and measuring what actually matters. Moderating this discussion is Shirish Kulkarni, founder and managing director of Stroth Consultech. Joining him, here we have Rishikesh Kulkarni, Chief Operating Officer, Zimmer Automation, Nitesh Chandra, Category Head, Switchgear, Panasonic Life Solutions India, Aditi Sharma, Chief Manufacturing Officer, Uno Minda Group, Anand Devdar, Group Chief Information Officer, Force Motors, Pumpaya HM, Associate Vice President Operations, Bharat Forge, Sujata Tilak, Managing Director, Ascent Intellimation, Jigan Raghavan, Global Product Head, Zoho IoT, Platform Strategy and Solutions. Please do join me in welcoming all the panelists on the stage. Let's dive into data to decisions, driving operational efficiency through advanced analytics.
Check, yeah. So wonderful to get into this panel discussion after insightful, we saw an earlier panel discussing about AI, more focus on, how India can adapt to it. We are going to talk about the complete transition from where it started, data, right? Data is the thing that we are looking at. And data had been there, data is there. If you go back, bearings, for example, in manufacturing, any manufacturing process keeps on generating data. There's nothing new, right? But then there came something called as big data in memory computing, right? And then, whenever we are trying to ride on that, larger players, please come. So larger players like Oracle and SAP leverage this opportunity for in-memory computing in the form of HANA or other technologies, basically to transition that, calling that you require insights immediately right now. So right time or real time. So if you look at data analytics had been there. You put anything in Excel and you build a kind of curve, a pattern will emerge, and that is something that we have been dealing with. So it could be analytics, generating insights, eventually leading to some decisions that you would say that, I will invest on this, I will stop this, I will have additional machine for capacity building like this, or eventually getting some alternative options for you to be able to decide based on data. So you require analytics, eventually getting you into autonomy, where you are talking about decisions is getting made not only by humans, but also by the system itself, talking to each other, being visible on the dashboard, going from top floor to shop floor, right? And eventually that autonomy resulting into something that we are looking at in the form of AI, artificial intelligence, where we are trying to look at whether that is something as a power we are giving to somebody else as an entity, which might compete with us as human beings, something that we have generated ourselves. Now we know that, when we had this evolution of computer programs were created by human beings. And eventually you had another program called as virus. If you intend to have malicious dimensions, where how much to give control to AI and how much that we are generated by human beings ourselves, eventually translating that back to us as benefit and not a threat for us. Eventually leading to something called as governance. So we will go through this whole cycle, and we have a great panel with us for discussing that, representing various dimensions. So we have Anand representing auto OEM, and I'm going to intentionally not take the brand names. Some of us have that constraint, so they will actually talk about their own brand and with the name if they want. So Anand represents huge amount of experience in auto OEM related contribution, manufacturing excellence as a focus. Pompaya represents OEM manufacturing pioneer into manufacturing automation. Aditi is actually hands-on in being a chief manufacturing officer and into tier 1 and very close to manufacturing operations as such. You have Rishikesh, who actually brings in smart manufacturing automation as an ecosystem. We have Nitesh, who would bring a lot of experience into automation as an ecosystem. We have Sujata Tilak, who would bring actually implementation experience across the various verticals in the form of automation across the industry. And we have Jagan representing technology. And I was looking at the screen and looking at who are the ones who have sponsored this. So looking at Zoho, Tata Telecommunications, and Panasonic representing here, I would like to give a big round of applause for the sponsors, not just being for the sponsorship, but there is a change. Can you see that change? Right? These are not biggies in the smart manufacturing space who are sponsoring this event. So big round of applause for them. There is a change that we should look at. The way that we will structure this whole discussion is that we will go through 3 questions, 3 types of questions, 3 focus areas. First one, and each one will go through and answer it in a minute or 1.5 minutes. You would see that me talking about, oh, interesting, means that the time is over for that person. First focus area would be, what are the challenges and opportunity you're seeing in this space as analytics, as things move from data analytics to insights to like we give it back to AI. The second focus area would be, talking about some success stories that we are seeing in this space for all the individuals on this space, where all of them are bringing in a huge amount of experience and hands-on insights there. The third area will be talking about the future, where we are heading. Is Industry 5.0 likely to be landing in India? Is it being successful in the Europe space and things like that? We will talk about robotics, cohorts, how that is actually happening in the grassroots level. So that actually gives me an opportunity where, we will move to Anand as the first one that would like to understand. As you see, in auto space as such, how much of this is looking at, happening, and you've seen it happening from technology point of view also. You've been seeing it from plant floor also. So in that view, I would like to ask you, your view of where do you see things happening as challenges and what are the opportunities that you're seeing?
Yeah. Just a disclaimer before I start. I'm here in my personal capacity and my views do not represent or reflect my organization.
I said that. Okay, please go ahead.
So I can relate your first question to one of the incidents. So there was one of my friend called Mukesh, who was a operational head He's rather operational head still now. So, you know, operations is a dirty job, right? So
it's very interesting,
but dirty as well. So he was so tense and so stressed and so pressurized that people started calling him Dukesh. So Mukesh became Dukesh. Dukhi. Okay.
Dukesh.
Yeah. So when I met him, he said, Anand, मेरे पास सब कुछ है. So don't relate this सब कुछ with Amitabh Bachchan का dialogue in दीवार. Okay, मेरे पास माँ नहीं. Okay. So he said, I got MES in place. I got the best Ingersoll machines in place, heavy duty machines, machining centers, precision grinding machines. But still, I'm lost. I'm not able to predict what will be my output at the end of the shift. Will I be meeting my target or not? Right. And second is, he said, as long as the shift doesn't get over and this supervisor don't come with the chits to me, I don't know where I am. I'm just running pillar to post. So these are the challenges for all organizations.
This is the realities on the
reality and challenges.
So you should have that write up where you write cross on the papers.
Yeah. So the main challenge is basically data is fragmented across multiple ERPs, then MES and other SCADAs and PLCs. So the opportunity is how do we connect these dots? Once you connect these dots and take a juice out of this analytics, this juice will become Amrit for Mukesh. So Mukesh, who is Dukesh right now, can become Sukesh. Sukesh means Sukhi.
Sukhi, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, okay. So you definitely highlight some aspects of things working in silos, not only on functional level, physical level, not only that the plants are different, but their systems are also different. So technologies are different and you need to have a Sukesh coming out of this. I think let's move to Pampaya and hear his views. You know, how do you see in tier 1 the challenges happening in this space?
Thanks, Mr. Sirish. So I lead aerospace and unmanned systems operations at BFL. And in aerospace, the precision, the traceability and reliability are very, very significant because any small variations in the manufacturing processes will lead to a disaster in the field performance of the the product. So in that sense, like my interest with analytics is very simple. The data, whatever is available with us, it should help a person to make a better decision. So then only it get a value, or else data is just data. It is not having any value until it not helps a person to make a better decisions. So from my perspective, the challenges is not with respect to getting data, because nowadays we get a lot of data from the machines, ERP systems, and quality systems and all. The how to how to integrate this data with different functions. So how to make this data to work to make a meaningful decisions out of it. See, production is having one data, and quality will be having one data, and maintenance carries one data. So all together, if the opportunity lies here, when you put all this data together, the productions, machines, maintenance, and quality together, then we can identify the root causes quickly and come out of the solutions or corrective actions, and which indeed helps the improve overall performance. That's what my perspective and about the challenges and opportunity what I see.
So I think everybody agrees that data is important. Data is difficult to get. Data is segregated. It's existing in silos. Analytics is important. But to making a sense by connecting all these dots, see in quality, maintenance, and operations is the key to success. I believe that is the message that we are trying to do. Let's go to Aditi, who is always moving within the plants. Whenever I used to call her, she was out of network. And as you see things hands-on, right? Things are really vibrant happening, and you have to be on the toes. It's indeed a very challenging job. I would not use that word. And you have to be Sukhi eventually. So how do you see this panning out for you? And is technology helping? How is it helping, and how it is not as such?
So I took a little offense when you said that when operations is a dirty job, because it is not. It's a very laborious, very tedious job. And
Round of applause for
yeah,
operations.
so I take pride in being in operations for 30 years now, and it is where the data is becoming a paralysis for the plant operation is that everybody is demanding data, whereas the expectation is that the data will drive decision. And those decisions should then lead to my OE improvement, my cutting down the waste, all the repetitive work should go into automation, my predictive maintenance should happen, my scheduling, forecasting, capacity management, everything should happen through data. And hence we are dumping all the data to plants and saying, fill it and give it to me. So the plants are struggling to understand, okay, I'm giving all this, but I'm still doing the tedious job, which I'm expected to do, plus 200% more giving the data. So I think where the struggle right now in the operations world is that instead of the data and data analytics becoming the enabler, it has become add-on work without actually telling me what is happening with data and how I am getting benefited. So if you see pops and mom shops and a supermarket, that is the difference. You know, in the supermarket, everything is available, and then it says, okay, where you go, how much time it takes to collect that. They have put the things in a way that, you know, okay, this I want to sell most, so I keep it towards the you know, billing counter. And these are the things any which ways people want, even if I keep it at the end.
Right.
Those kind of decision makings data should bring to our plants and make the life of plant easy. And that's where, you know, if you look at the part traceability, wherever people have gone into the 3PL models, wherever people have gone into IoT in the true sense to drive predictability, preventive maintenance, scheduling, ordering the consumables, you know, life has become very easy. But wherever it is not, then the tedious, laborious work continues and becomes as deglamorized, as you said, and you know, and hence it becomes very difficult for plants to run with additional requirement of providing the data. So the difference is whether data is making sense for me or am I making sense for analytics is the only difference which I see right now.
So what I hear is that data is important, data is essential, data, if at all it is required to be entered by human beings, that's a big no-no. I think it should automate it from the source, almost like without a human intervention where things can automatically pop in rather than you go and every time entering it and you have manual errors and resulting into that additional load.
And then that should give me solution. It should not just become data dumping. I need solution out of that
So
data.
basically problem definition to eventually translating into interpretation and insights that will help you is definitely key. So let's hear from Rishikesh from you know, manufacturing automation ecosystem as such, and you know, vast experience into that. Where do you see things not working as technology becomes a larger piece than the business side, you know, and at times, you know, this is likely to be becoming an IT centric project rather than business centric project. So where do you, in your experience, do you see that, you know, it is important to define business KPIs as you know, Aditi was saying, for any project to be successful, or where are the current potholes that you're seeing?
Good evening, everyone. I am Rishikesh Kulkarni, and I represent Zimmer Automation. We are a German company, and very happy to say that, you know, we have set up a manufacturing setup in Pune. Okay. So this is something you know, we are extremely proud of having. You know, we are a 40-year-old company, and India was the first destination outside Germany that the management decided that, you know, we want to go outside Germany and, you know, we start manufacturing. So that's a little history about my company. Now, coming to the point that you asked, I remember my professor, you know, a very nice memory. You know, he used to say, in God we believe, rest everyone must get their data. So, you know,
In God you believe.
In God we believe, but should get their data.
Okay, fine.
So if data always has to be, you know, it kind of, you know, backed up, you know, whatever decisions that you're taking, you know, it has to be very clearly backed up by the data. So with this small little thought, you know, let me kind of tell you more about what are the challenges that we are facing as an automation and robotics company. Probably the first panel that was discussing, they've made a very pertinent point. The landscape of Indian manufacturing fraternity, if you see now, it is 60 to 70%, is with the medium and the small scale enterprises, and that's where is the challenge, and that's where also is the opportunity for us. So if we are looking at scaling up, this is the sector that we all need to look at on how we have to provide automation solutions, how we can help them scale up. So if we really look at the challenges would be, truth be told, budget is what is always driven on. Automation is never seen as something that is a necessity. It is always an add-on. We always get this kind of a stepmotherly treatment, if I can say, but automation is typically, with the small and the medium scale, this is the problem.
It should be
that we
coming
have.
as a magic wand and, without
Exactly,
spending anything.
Exactly, but let me tell you, I'm extremely happy that, the scenario is changing. In the decade, the scenario has totally changed. Automation is no more a fantasy. People really understand why, automation is required for consistency in quality to scale up. If you have to go really, when we say that, we want to be the global manufacturing hub, then this is the way forward. So this is very clear. The second challenge that we typically see is because this props up from the first point itself, that automation is never seen as a necessity. So we always have these legacy machines which need to be automated, and typically these are the ones which are not automation friendly. So there has to be a transition in the way the machine tool builders also build their machines. They have to be automation friendly. And number three, I would say, which is very close to my heart, because this is a challenge, a complexity that I try to handle from my current role. It is the complexity in the end of arm tool. So this is an end of arm tool. Anything which goes onto the robot, and it is actually touching the part and moving the part in the factory, because robots have become a commodity. Gantry has become a commodity. So what actually is very niche is in the way we build the end of arm tools. 3-4 points which I see as potholes, but I would say that the things are changing. Good times are ahead of us, and the decade belongs to Indian manufacturing.
Okay, wonderful. So what I hear is definitely certain aspects of challenges, but as we see manufacturing setup, that you have sensors, you have data coming, you have some interpretations. Automation is there, and you really don't require artificial intelligence. You had analytics. You could use simple tools like Excel to really get that insights. And while there are statistics where around people say that around 80% of manufacturing industry has already started using AI. Now, whether they are using it for productivity, design gains, or which area is still not known, and we'll not get into that debate. We'll come to the third portion of the section, and where we'll get that, bringing that out in the form of the way that the ROI gets defined. At times you get tangible benefits. At times you have intangible benefits coming out of it. It's difficult to define the business case. At times, what the history says that the most of the IIoT or smart manufacturing projects have not delivered to the expectation set, which was a misnomer, where specifically MSME industry has become really averse last 10 years, and they are actually taking it with a pinch of salt. Now, talking about you, Nitesh, huge amount of experience, also huge understanding of the markets. Where do you see, customer in the form of customers, end users? Where do you see that happening?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Nitesh Chandra. I'm category head with Panasonic for switchgear. When I started my career almost around 18 years back, I was started as a site engineer or a sales engineer, to be precise. And at those time, I used to give my visit reports in Excel at that time. And now a CRM-based system is there. And when we are putting data in CRM, the sales executive is putting data in CRM for all the customers whom they are meeting out. They are also putting the BOM, BOQ. What is the product they are asking? The customer is asking. They are putting each and every specification over there, so that the operations, the team sitting out there in factory, their work will get easy. They will get the exact data, what they need to manufacture, how much they have to manufacture, and what timelines they are having to get it delivered. So that is how the time has evolved.
Wonderful. So
that-
basically getting everything together and those interpretations also going up the value chain. I think
Yes.
that is the key to success. The whole value chain has to be, benefit. And we're just talking about manufacturing as such in 5.0 goes beyond the walls of the factory, going it as a human being working not only as employee, also as a part of society. So society 5.0, how your factory would benefit in the larger context, in sustainability also, in carbon footprint, and also how you can make it scalable to actually any kind of a pandemic or any kind of external impact that is coming. So agility becomes key. And let's move to Sujata ma'am. I think great to have you where, right from the inception of 4.0, I believe ages where it has now matured and certain industries have shown some success. Some, might have not shown that ROI that are shown. You've been working closely with many industry, but maybe energy was something that came to my mind. What do you see as commonalities of something that is not happening as per the plans?
Thanks. I'm Sujata Tirak. I am Managing Director of Ascent Intellimation, and as Shirish mentioned, we are into Industry 4 solutions using our own platform called Plant Connect. And I have witnessed at least 30 to 40 implementations of our platform, some directly and some indirectly. So two things stand out for me in terms of challenges. So when we started several years back, the main challenge was defining the problem, right? What do I want to do with this system? What do I want to achieve? But largely that problem has been solved or has been reduced. Companies have become much more knowledgeable. They now know what outcome they want and how to measure it, etc. But there is another challenge which is still very much present in many companies, and that is the shop floor ownership of Industry 4 solutions. Maybe management is on board, the CIO, GM, and all those people want the system, they are on board, the system gets deployed, but it has to run on the shop floor, right? Day out, through all the different scenarios that are happening on the shop floor. In this case, you need a human in the loop. You need somebody we call as a digital champion to be present on the floor, to be available to the users and handhold the users, solve their queries, solve their doubt. There are small things which happen on the shop floor, right? And somebody needs to be there. You can't depend on the partner who has supplied the system to solve every single query and every single. So this ownership is lacking in many companies. And where it is lacking, things don't turn out well. But I have seen the other side also, where there are digital champions available. It is in their KRA to continuously support the system. It does not that the system needs any support, but the people who are using it. These systems are primarily used by operators, right? They have to do some little interaction with the system in order to do things like, what product am I making? So you have to select the product. Then if there is a downtime, you have to select why the downtime was there. So you have to select the reason. So in many companies, these operators are contract people. They are changing all the time. New operators are coming and so on. So you need some support on ground for these people. And where this support is available, things work well.
Right.
But if this support is not available, things unravel. And after a while, everybody loses
So
interest.
ownership becomes extremely
Ownership
critical.
is a
The
extremely
stakeholder
crucial thing.
buy-in for all this project becomes
Yes, and
extremely
having a right digital champion. Sometimes they say, okay, this guy is the digital champion, but he has 10 other responsibilities. And then he's not able
available.
to devote any time for
It's
this.
not committed also.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes we have put our foot down. You bring me a digital champion, otherwise we are not going to talk.
Good. So we will come to this view where it actually moves from 4.0 to 5.0 in the next round. I believe now let's go to Jagan. Great to have you, and a technology company like Zoho. Big round of applause for you also, where it's something that platform strategy and solution IoT, right? So how do you see that it's shaping out? Where do you see a company like Zoho getting challenged?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Shirish, for the intro. And I have been given the opportunity to speak on another panel topic, but I chose this one because this was close to my heart.
Round of applause for him.
Yeah, because this is my day-to-day thing where we do industrial IoT, where we do a lot of analytics with the data. So before, when we are talking about challenges, everyone were complaining about the data, the quality of the data. I want to take a step back and see, I put these challenges into three categories. First, I would say there are basic strategy challenges. So the common pattern I see when this digitization is required inside a manufacturing company, a single function department takes this initiative, such as production team takes it, or a maintenance team takes it. Okay, so here the larger part here is what is missing here is the leadership team, right? So the leadership team gets rarely involved, and that really results in a narrow vision. They don't give that kind of a larger, bigger outcomes. So that is majorly required to push everyone on a kind of a same direction without any kind of individual egos and things. And the next challenge I would say is trying to solve too many problems at the same time, simultaneously. That is also a kind of a problem that I see. And also having unrealistic expectations that, you had come inside, AI is going to transform and it will happen overnight.
So having free pilots, was that a problem you have been facing? Free
Yeah,
pilots,
yeah.
ye karke dikha, wo karke dikha. Show this also. And then
Yeah.
they are not committing to order. Is
Correct,
that something
correct.
that you
That is kind of a problem. I would say the second problem is the intelligence problem. Everyone talked about the data and things, but there is a kind of a procedural way the manufacturers have to see. The data is not ready to convert into decision, right? So it has to get transformed into information. Information has to get transformed into context. Context has to get transformed into insights. Insights then become decisions and then actions, right? So this is a kind of a procedural way, what it takes to convert this from one stage to another. This is something that every manufacturer has to understand along with the platform provider. And there is also a problem I see in choosing the right platform. So people used to get kind of impressed with the dashboards and reports, and they are very much satisfied with whatever they got. But after a few months, they get to see, this is something I'm just using for show and tell kind of thing. I'm not getting anything out of it. So this is something from the beginning, they need to have that. The platform has to answer 4 important questions. What had happened, and why it had happened, and what will likely happen next, and also what actions need to be done later.
Great. I think that's a great insight. And I believe the kind of way that you're sounding, let's put it a little bit humorous way that, before the marriage, something about whoever is getting married, both sides, spouses, and then after marriage. I believe that is the kind of reality you're trying to highlight.
Yeah.
But I will not steal that thunder. But great to have you. I think let's ask Sujata about, there are claims about data, 2 petabytes of data, and then 30% of the data being effectively utilized. Some success stories like 15 to 30% improvements in the productivity, 20 to 50% reduction in unplanned downtime, Do you think that kind of a success story is a reality or a kind of rosy picture? So what success stories do you see really happening in the...
So there is one side of it as to what you put in your sales speech and all of that. But transformation happens slowly.
I'll just see, we have looked at sales process, right? I mean, where things are getting sold in the form of products, services, solutions. And then we also sell as leaders that ye work karega. This is the business case. It will generate some 2 billion saving. So I'm selling it to my management. Now she is talking about after effect of that. Yeah.
So I mean, changes do happen, but they happen slowly. There's no overnight, or even if you say in 1 year, nothing much. It starts happening, but you don't see like 30-40% change in a year. But yes, so the whole thing is, if you choose the right use case where you have a real pain point and then you deploy a right solution for that, then things can happen. So I just would like to I just cite one case where we are working right now, and it is related to AI, edge AI actually. So the use case is really excellent, and because the use case is so good, the solution will definitely work and provide the result. So this is, I am not, without divulging too many details, this is related to quality prediction in a chemical process.
Just
So
for the audience, edge AI is where you are going to have some equipment or device, a chip where the calculation happen without coming to the server, right?
exactly. So edge is where in your plant is the edge, right?
Oh.
So there is typically a edge gateway which is talking to the machines, collecting the data, and then typically sending it to the cloud. Now, edge intelligence or edge computing, edge processing, whatever you call it, is you process the data on the gateway at the edge without sending it to the cloud, and then give analytics, give decision, give insights directly on the edge. So it is
Without making a server trip, which will be lengthy. And
exactly
also data consuming. Yeah.
because the reasoning behind this is your machines are on the edge, you have a compute on the edge, your decision has to do with the edge, it has to go back to there. So why do this round trip to cloud and back, right? So cloud is to be used for historical analytics or analytics over a long-term analytics, but there and then if you want something, try to do it on the edge. So that's a new principle that is coming in. So this use case which I'm talking about is related to the quality prediction. So in a plant, it takes, let's say, 30 hours to make something, and machine learning with some specific scientific algorithms will be used or is being used to predict the quality of the product which is going to be manufactured after 20 hours. And not just prediction, if the quality is going out of whatever is the tolerance range, adjust the process. So there is control also involved.
Oh, so correction is also
Yeah,
involved.
so it is like a step towards autonomous system.
Like having a full circle where
Yes, it
control
is not the whole plant is not yet autonomous, but
Understood.
a part of it is.
So I think that's really great, and happy to see that it is really working. It's what I think what I got out of it is, one is being realistic about setting expectation, taking powerful use case which will matter, putting the sensors and data sources in such a way that it will actually generate that data and that insight. Going to the technology, I'm rarely seeing that quantum or edge kind of technology is getting used. I'm happy to hear that in plant where you hardly get even network, edge is getting utilized. So I think a wonderful story.
And by the way, this whole thing is happening in one room.
Wow,
It's not going anywhere. So it is local.
good.
And one more point related to Aditi. She mentioned that the shop floor is bombarded with requests for data and so on.
Yeah.
So this is another thing. You have to decide what data you want. You don't have to get 100 things out of the machine. Just get 2 things
Because
that you
it is
need.
done by somebody else or it is defined in some reports.
Yeah.
I don't want to blame them also. Yeah. So getting to I think Nitesh talking about how you're seeing things happening in the market. How do you see traction of real life ROI coming to picture, and where do you see challenges where things don't work and customer expects something else, right? And customer story actually has to be powerful.
Yeah, customer is a powerful person. Like we have to work as per the customer requirement. That is what sales need to do, and the feeds what they are getting from the market need to be feeded to the operations in a right way, in a correct way, and it has to be interpreted by the operations in the same manner. Like if a requirement of a product is in 4 weeks, and in current scenario it is not happening because of a lot of factors now, and customer is not listening, what need to be do?
Right.
So we need to look out for the maybe some other thing for that part. We have to look out for new raw material, or need to do some value engineering, and that need to be done over
So
there.
basically, what you're saying is fundamentally we should touch the areas in which it matters. We don't need to have rocket science there. It is data which is known to us. Put it in Excel and generate those reports that you want. You don't need to put into hi-fi systems or go for buying. Rishikesh, being hands-on, and being proud of having a plant in Pune, especially. And so what are the kind of things that bother you as an operations head, and see that, okay, this is successful and this is not happening from your point of view?
Here, I would not go to my daily business and try and answer. I would like to define success. I mean, in the world obsessed with the success, let me talk about the potential which lies ahead of us. I would like to quote certain stats from IFR. This is the International Federation for Robotics. Very, very interesting statistics. If we now look at the current scenario, I'm referring to 2025 report. India moved up 2 notches up. In terms of
Big round of applause for
the
India.
robot, this thing.
Good one.
So we are now the 7th largest, consumers of robots.
Wonderful.
And this is a very, very nice positive step with deep spike coming up post-COVID. So, it shows that, the industry is understanding the importance of implementing robotics, automation to scale up. Now, I come to the very interesting part of it. Now, 7th is one position. Now, if we have to now we are on the 6th position. Now, if we have to move 5th position, which is Germany at the moment, India last year consumed about 9,120 robots, and Germany is now sitting at 27,000 robots.
So 3 times.
So 3 times more. So just look at how much we will have to scale up. Look at the possibility on how we can do this. Now, the second aspect of this particular number is the density of robots. They typically measure how many robots get deployed, for 10,000 people. Very interesting. South Korea sits at the top. 1,200 robots per 10,000 people, working on the shop floor. They call it super automated, factories. Whereas India, we are at a dismal 30 robots per 10,000 people working on the shop floor. So they very nicely wrote emerging market, and I'm very happy about this particular tag. This is exactly where we should be looking at our growth and how we can improve. So the potential is extremely high, and the world average is at 162. 1,200 in South Korea is the highest. 162 is defined as the average for the world, and we are at 30. So we are running at an 80% deficit, roughly.
5 times more that we need.
So exactly. So if I would choose pragmatism over hype, I would say AI, robotics, automation will eat away jobs. My take on this, it will not eat away. Sector still needs a lot of skilled people. There is a dearth of skill. So looking at this particular, I would say, as I said in my first round, the next decade belongs to us. We should focus on how we can scale up.
I like that optimism. I think robots, big round of applause for his conviction and, practical numbers that he shared. So we need to do maybe 3 times, 10 times. And I'm talking about adoption in general, not only specific to robotics, but adoption of any technology coming to that level is the key to success. Let's move to Aditya and being, so close to operations. And we talked about the data silos and other stuff. What are the things that you see that are happening nicely, and some success stories, some numbers, where things have really moved in a positive direction as you see technology coming in and, impacting?
2-3 things which I see, and it is very imperative for us to know that whether we make a choice today or we make a choice later, because this is eventually a choice which we have to make, right? What I'm seeing, the amount of work which is coming our way right now because of the whole world looking at us as being the substitute or the alternate manufacturing hub. The only thing which actually becomes the deterrent for us to participate in the global market is our capacity and our capability, specifically from the point of view of automation and quality. So, when I sit in some of the forums and we still try to take decisions, we say, okay, I want to do AI, let's do PPE detection. That is not AI.
Abhi QA process bhi nahi rahega.
This is not AI. So whether everybody is wearing helmet or not. So we are very piecemeal kind of looking at this whole thing, which actually should become a big enabler. We are going to not be the cheapest labor market anymore. India being gifted with intelligence and government paying so much money for people to get educated, we are getting into an era where we will be the most intelligent people running the most advanced manufacturing facilities. I was just 2 days back sitting in the Bhavya scheme, which government is coming up with, where they're coming up with 100 industrial parks, which are plug-and-play parks, which will be state-of-art. Who will run them? It will not be run by labor. It will be run by engineers. So I think glamorization, the way BPO industry has done, the way aviation industry has done, that, they also, it's a glamorized work which the air hostesses do. We need to glamorize ourselves. Where I'm
You're saying that you should glamorize.
we should
We
glamorize
should talk
ourselves.
about AI enabler,
Yeah,
solving so many problems.
if my factories will become completely automated with lots of robots and cobots, then my engineers should work in the factory, not the labor should work in the factory. And I think that is the change which we have to
So
see.
instead of jobs getting lost, you're saying change in jobs and roles.
Change
and
in job and role.
being adopting to those is the key to
Absolutely. So
success.
you go to Germany and China, you will see all engineers working in the shop floors. Here we are still going to that roadside, and in the morning we are saying, "Das log aa jao." And then we are saying AI doesn't work, or digitization doesn't work because they don't know how to read it. So it's a vicious cycle. But wherever people have gone full heart, okay, I will not give automotive example, but I'll tell you how Passport Seva,
Yeah.
when one day they decided that from tomorrow everything will be through PSK, it became a success. So anybody who has to do it has to be disruptive about it and full heart. What we are doing actually as an industry, I'll make one line. Rest 5 lines I will not do.
Okay, and okay.
Then I will look at somebody else. Has they done it? Then I'll ask Zoho, can you give me your use case? Can I go and see? So we are being very, very conservative about something which is actually going to take us up the game in the market to be more competitive and go
So
more,
I
get more
see that,
business.
we need to have a conviction about this technology being enabler in true sense and not over promising, but making sure that we under promise and over deliver those aspects.
And let's not look at it as a break even or, a kind of game. Let's look at it as an enabler to be up in the market rather than saying, when will you show me productivity improvement?
But in this, maybe a continuation question, we technologists and people who are really working on hands definitely think that way. But does the management buy in this kind of logic of, yeah, they will be enabler? You see that change in the management slowly in their mindset?
So management, again, since I have done Six Sigma a lot, I always say do cost benefit analysis, but don't look only at a tangible. We always go back and say, what will be my ROI? What will be my ROI has to be now around, am I improving my brand image? Can there will be more people coming in? Can I be more available? Am I capacity ahead of demand?
So can I get to the bigger markets?
Exactly. So we still go back saying quality defects will come down. We will save 5 seconds. Tech time will come down. We are so conservative about even presenting the benefits of what these things can
So
do.
the larger picture also is
Absolutely,
I think let's go to Pampaya. Also look at aspects of what do you think from some company which has implemented 4.0 so successfully, right? And amazing kind of output coming in. So do you want to cite either from there or some kind of success stories?
See, if I add from my perspective, from the unmanned aerial vehicles, like UAVs, what we call. See, if you look at one thing, I want to say that know your customer, know your market, right? So if you want to stay in the competition, you have to know what is the market. So the UAVs market is so volatile, so dynamic, so many innovations coming up. I don't know. Today, there is a one demand, and tomorrow there will be some features which will be added, and they will be asking about that. So in that sense, so how I can update it, how I can know my market and then my customers, my competitors. So what is their capability? How my capability has to be enhanced. So I leverage this, the AI and analytics to know that every day morning I check that, and I'll be having all the informations with me, and to know the capabilities and what is coming up in the market. That's why I really look at the value which is added from the AI analytics. And also some sort of UAV and aerospace, the supply chain is kind of a very disruptions. We are dependent on the like so many global suppliers, and then in that sense, again, how to avoid these supply chain disruptions
Right. So
because
supply
of
chain becomes a critical one, which is agile.
Yes,
to
that
be-
way. And we taken this AI as a reference, like and to know the geopolitical and also the pattern of the scoring of that vendor and also the weather conditions and from some of the news. Like the AI is going to help us and throw the warning well in advance for 4 to 5 weeks in
Wonderful.
advance, so
So
that
that-
I have a reaction time to source from other vendors and all these things.
So that maturity is there and
Yes,
it's
yeah.
required to be there in supply chain as an extended part of your plant, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Let's go to Anand as a final word, manufacturing excellence, and there are huge amount of KPIs here and there. And, what do you see critical success factor, or what is that you've seen that has worked for me? मेरे को तो सुखिया बना दिया.
So there are multiple success stories, but I think in interest of time, I'll go through only 2 or 3 max. As you know, in typical organization, manufacturing organization, there is always a tussle between operations and marketing. And marketing will always demand things which you cannot produce.
Cannot
And
produce.
if things are bad, they will ask only those
And
things.
they will sell it also there and sells.
Right.
It will come to you.
And he has got a good James Bonds everywhere in the operations who tell him what is the bottleneck and what you should be demanding. So with manufacturing analytics coming in, you can have a good demand forecasting and you can avoid these things.
You have visibility across the value chain where things are happening right now, maybe.
Second use case is on quality. So basically defects can be controlled at 3 levels. One is at the plant level, second is at a shop level, and third is at a line level. So in case you want to become a world-class organization, you need to control this at a line level. So again, for this, analytics is useful and you can control this.
Left shift quality is what they say.
Left shift
Yeah.
quality is there, right?
Okay, wonderful. I think it was great discussing, and I think I had to intervene at number of times. We will go for questions, and we had a third round we wanted to have about future of where it takes, but we'll take it with the questions. But just to conclude, 3 points. Data is no longer an IT asset, but a strategic manufacturing asset. The goal is not to be having better dashboard, but we need to result into better decision making. To intelligent automation, autonomous and governed manufacturing systems is the conclusion. I think, thanks. Big round of applause for the panel. Any questions? Do we have time for question?
We can have one question for sure.
Okay, I'm Avinash Kapoor. My question is relating to automation. Primarily, maybe Rishikesh talked about it a lot. Robotics and automation. I agree, definitely. But we have to be judicious. First thing is, of course, wherever safety is an issue, that's the first candidate for automation. And then we come to productivity, costs, other things. But problem is that many cases in India, we can't blindly just go into automation because of cost benefit. If your lot size is small, okay, then you putting a robo is many times not feasible. The changeovers will be too much, and the application engineering part will be too much. Changeover times will be too much. So I think one has to be judicious.
So what is your question? Everything is good.
No,
What is
I'm
your
saying
question?
automation, robots and automation cannot, it's not the only
So
thing.
it's a statement, it's the answer. It's a question. Is it a question?
I'm saying it is not possible to go all out for robots. That is the question.
Sir, I totally echo your sentiments. I understand what is your pain, because this is something that we face day in, day out. So typically you're talking about a scenario where the batch sizes are very small.
Yes.
The customer is asking for product A, tomorrow it will move to B, C, D, and so on and so forth. So now the one thing that immediately comes to my mind is the collaborative robot. How can we make the collaborative robot work? The cobots work on the shop floor for smaller batch sizes, for which we have developed certain products, there are certain solutions. I will not call it a product, I will call it a solution, because until unless we are solution driven, and we are not putting in place automation systems which are future ready, which is not taking into consideration what is the new product which will come over the next 4 or 5 years, we are not really putting up a efficient automation solution there. So maybe I understand there is paucity of time. Maybe during the break, we can connect, and I can kind of show you, what are the new trends, which have come into the market, not just from the Zimmer side, but what has been. I would like to share the essence of how batch production can be automated. Yeah.
So short answer, he will actually have time with you, but short answer is that unless you have that kind of a viability created, never go for any commitment, never go for any automation. Unless your basic process is actually requiring that automation, that standardization, don't go for it. It's a no-brainer.
Any more questions? 1 or 2 questions? Anyone?
So either we have overwhelmed them or we have answered all the questions.
This entire discussion is getting really very interesting, very important.
Thank you very much. Myself, Bhupen Gupta, I'm from Panasonic and they're leading IT operations. So it's a really pleasure to be here. But my question was very simple and sweet. Can artificial intelligence and that robustness of the data can change the manpower? Like it can replace the manpower?
Remember, it is an artificial intelligence, right? So natural intelligence will always be required from human. I think our biggest fear is, and I was speaking in another forum few days back, that we were very happy to automate our legs, automate our hands, automate our breathing, automate our, we came up with mobile phones and everything we were fine. But the moment it came to our brains, our ego came on the way that can somebody else take decisions for me, because that's where we are different from any other species, right? Artificial intelligence will not take away human requirement to run factories or this world. It will take away the repetitive work where I am wasting this species who has brain, which is becoming non-value added, which is becoming very critical, which is where decision making, which used to take number of years or number of days, is becoming quicker. I'll give you an example. All of us have cars, right? Now, earlier our cars used to have those meters where we used to figure out that we have to fill petrol. Today it tells me ahead of time that you left 30 kilometers. It has gone to further because we have done the mapping. Through the map and being connected to Google Map, it also tells me where is the next fuel station. Okay. It tells me if your tire pressure is this much, then you're going to get what fuel efficiency. We have done the mapping of all the roads, so it tells you which terrain is coming at what speed you should be driving. This is how it is enabling us to take better decisions. But it is not taking, we still drive the car, we still use the car. So let us come out of this fear, because this fear is not only in the automotive industry, this is a huge fear which is there in the IT industry also, that, oh, AI is going to take away everything. That's not the truth. After a particular time, we will still need human intelligence to come and tell us what decision need to be taken and what work need to be done. By the way, if artificial intelligence comes back and say you should have 10 robots, the robots will be made by human only, or design will be human only. So I think it's a misnomer. Of course, it will cut down the requirement of number of people or labor, physical labor in the shop floors. But I think it is not going to take away all human race to say that you are good for nothing.
I do believe that's why, because I heard you in your panel discussion also very seriously. And when you commented that in some time that machine is going to be, and we want that operation should be taken care by the engineer. What about the blue collar job?
Okay, I'll answer this.
So
Yeah.
let me complete, sir. Please allow me. If you do not have time, then we can discuss in the networking team. No issue. But the point is, I also believe that artificial intelligence cannot replace the human power. It cannot be, because with data, artificial intelligence is working only on the data, and data is also human driven. So at any point of time, I am giving that 2 + 2 = 5, and I am giving that 1 lakh time. So maybe artificial intelligence can suggest it is a 4, but I think it can be a 5. So that's depend on data. So that's, I got your point. Thank you very much.
Have you completed?
Yeah, I completed.
Okay. So another perspective of how industry should look at artificial intelligence or impact of any automation as such. One has to know, as she rightly pointed out, any kind of repeated job, any kind of mundane job is going to be taken, let it be in the software, IT or manufacturing, taken easily because it is discrete, it is decision makeable without your intervention, and hence it will be taken up. We have to accept it. We should not be blaming AI for that. AI is created by us. It's a program. It's a complex one which has LLM, logistics and all that stuff, but it is created by us. So we have to be aware of it. Create a map of your organization which functions are likely to be interacted, and create that as a heat map. You mark that as red. The ones which are medium could be marked as yellow, and the ones which are likely to be remotely impacted, you mark it green. Make a strategy in which you are moving those people who are in red towards yellow or green area, and that is the way that you have to cross skill everybody, and that's the future where AI will move, right? Whether AI would actually replace human being, there is no possibility, but it's being something that you start believing in, you start slowly relying upon. You as a human being has to actually make sure that there is always a human in a loop in the process that you define for AI, where you govern the final decision. Where AI will not hit mainly is cognitive understanding. Some insights that we were talking about, people actually have that. They touch the engine and say that, oh, the piston ring has gone wrong. This kind of insights human beings should have in all the processes they are working in. And that's where cognitively we have to elevate ourselves. Now AI can do this, so I have to actually elevate myself, not being redundant because of AI. So it's on us to be actually aware and taking ourselves to the next level beyond AI.
Thank you. It has been a great discussion. Can we have a round of applause for all of the panelists? And now may I call up on the stage Mr. Milind Deshpande and Mr. Ram Vaidyanathan to felicitate our panel members. May I request Mr. Milind Deshpande to kindly please to felicitate our moderator, Shirish Kulkarni. Rishikesh Kulkarni, may I request you to kindly please to felicitate Rishikesh Kulkarni. Nitesh Chandra. Aditi Sharma. Thank you for doing the honor. May I request Mr. Ram Vaidyanathan to kindly please to felicitate Mr. Anand Devdar. Please do felicitate Pompaya HM. Ms. Sujata Tilak. And Jigan Raghavan. Thank you once again. Thank you. As a valued partner for today's event, Zoho has been instrumental in supporting this discussion. Please join me in welcoming the Ram Vaidyanathan, Product Marketing Manager, Zoho ERP, for their partner presentation. May I request Mr. Ram Vaidyanathan to kindly please do join us back on the stage for the partner presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you've all had a very good time at the summit so far. I certainly have. The previous panel was pretty interesting. There was a discussion about cars and, how AI and, how all are just transforming everything. Just last year, I was in San Francisco, and we had this app, it was called Waymo. So, you could just book it just the way that you would book a Ola or Uber. And I was kind of, I was a little fearful about it. It was a self-driving car. So we booked it, it would come. There was nobody inside, no driver. We just had to open the door. We could, hear to whatever music that we wanted to hear. And then, you know what? My heart was in my mouth as it, went through the streets of San Francisco. And then at an intersection, there was a cyclist who just kind of veered into the road, and I was like, okay, is it going to stop in time? And it did. And then it also changed lanes and finally got to my destination as well. So things are really transforming. And, as the previous panel also discussed, we have to be able to go beyond all of this as the human endeavor. So there are things that AI can take up, but there are still things that are left for us to explore. So that is the major thing. So the title of my talk, as you can see over here, is The Connected Plant, Why 2026 Rewards the Prepared. Having said that, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Ram, and I'm part of the Zoho ERP team. And many of you would know, and some of you may not know, but we launched Zoho ERP just about 5 months back. We kind of flipped the equation here. So it was one of the few products that we actually launched in India because it was a decision by design. We wanted to really challenge what ERPs are known to be. We really wanted an ERP coming out of India. And we launched it in a place called Kumbakonam, which is a small town in Tamil Nadu, the state. That's where we launched it. The Indian edition is out right now. And we are gearing up for release in the global markets in the months to come. The first sentence over there, it's not totally true. Growth is actually difficult. You have to have the strategy in place. You've got to have the market that you actually study. You have to get the customers, you have to get the sales, you have to get the orders. All of that is definitely difficult, but it can be managed. But then what if you grow and you grow way too much and too fast? Scaling, that could actually be a challenge. So ambition and the will to grow is not really the bottleneck. Your systems, on the other hand, the way that we as Zoho see it, could be the bottleneck. Let me take you back in time. The year was 2011, and I was working as a business analyst in a distribution company. We were actually making low voltage security systems, such as, or distributing them rather, such as CCTV cameras, intruder alarm systems, fire alarm systems, physical access control systems, and so on. And as a business analyst, every Sunday night without fail, I had to get the raw dump of the data, work my skills on it, basically using spreadsheets, and then try and connect all the data together so that the MD of the company can have a call on the Monday morning. Now, back in 2011, it worked fine, and we were able to take certain decisions. But obviously, with the kind of transactions, the amount of transactions that we see in the world today, and how competitive the world has become, that just doesn't fly anymore. And yes, spreadsheets, okay. And then, from there, we went on to fragmented systems. But today, we want to connect everything. And that is the way Zoho has also kind of evolved. So Zoho ERP could have launched earlier this year, but this was an exercise for us for the last decade and a half, where we had multiple different tools. So we had a tool for accounting. We had a tool for expense and travel management. We had a tool for payroll. Now imagine all of these different tools coming together on a single platform. And on top of that, specific capabilities being added for specific industries. For example, manufacturing. So that is the way that we are looking at Zoho ERP and taking the platform-based approach over here. So when it comes to manufacturing companies in specific, you have the fact that you need bills of material, and sometimes you need multi-level bills of material too. So you could have a semi-finished good and multiple semi-finished good that makes that finished good. You've got to have a way to manage all of that. You need to track the work in process inventory at any point in time, and that has to be accurate. You need to know where which material is at any point in time. You've got to be able to track all of that, right? So that is one major challenge. The other is subcontracting. Many a time what happens, and this is discussions that we've had with a lot of our customers, subcontracting, right? So everything is fine until the time that the subcontract goes out, and then it is in the dark, and they are waiting until it comes back. So a lot of information gets exchanged on WhatsApp messages, for example. So is there a way we can better all of this? That is the approach that we have taken. So this is the kind of a subcontracting flow that we usually build into our product. And this is again, our customers have actually educated us over time. And what we actually found out was that the last 5 months, it is actually manufacturing that gives us the most number of customers. The second is retail, but a lot of the customers when it comes to our ERP solution is manufacturing, and we are learning with time as well. You must not guess any order. See, in any manufacturing company, you have the fact that there are so many raw materials. You have to make a procurement order. Maybe you have to attract bids from multiple vendors. You need to have a mechanism to compare the bids and then select the right vendor to go with. Then once the raw material comes in, you have to do a quality check at that point in time. And then maybe after receiving it, you have to transfer it to the right warehouse or the production center. You have to define the different operations that raw material has to go through until it transformed into a finished good. Maybe there are 5 different operations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and every operation has its own raw materials associated with that. You need to be able to track all of that. So these are things that we need to look at. Going beyond that, even procurement, right? The first point that I made, is there a way in which we can forecast the kind of procurement that we need to do? So one way to do it is obviously, you can have a minimum order level, and once that hits, you have to place a purchase order automatically. But is there a way we can actually look at certain statistics or even use AI in the mix to get this done in a more better way? This is another thing. So there is this point of landed cost. Again, there could be imports that we are dealing with, and it is, when you actually look at the cost of goods sold, you have to take into account multiple different things. So you're importing it, and there is a particular landed cost associated with that. So do you know the exact cost? And at the time of sale, do you know the exact margin that you're making? So these are things that you need to look at. Of course, the people operations, the people aspect of it is extremely critical as well. There is the whole payroll aspect and the compliance aspect, because you have multiple people working in your organization. They work different shifts. They have different pay structures. There are different tax laws that we have. So all of that needs to be brought into one single platform, not decided. It has to be basically brought into a single platform. That is something very, very critical for manufacturing companies too. The other aspect is data. We saw in the previous panel discussion as well that, yes, there is a lot of data over here that we are collecting. But is there a way for us to transform that data into information and then into insight? Does your data actually tell you what's about to go wrong before it actually does? Before you actually frown, does it actually tell you, okay, this is about to happen and you need to take corrective action right now? So these are things that you need to look at. Can I play this? Okay, so, okay, there we go. So it is. So this is how we have actually brought AI into the mix over here. So this is a very, very simple example of how we have done AI. So this is a smart travel booking solution within the ERP. So any manufacturing company, you may have people, traveling to your customer's location. So is there a way we can just do all of this in an automated fashion where AI is actually going to help you? You can just use the prompts to actually go ahead and book the hotel that the person will be staying at. And then it goes through approval process. And once it gets approved, the ticket actually gets booked for the flights and the hotel also gets booked. So this is one example. The other is this. This is where we bring in a smart dashboard for every customer that you deal with. So how likely is it that they are going to pay on time? So this is another video, if it can be played. So there we go. So you come up with a concept of a risk score, which looks at various different criteria and then gives a risk score for every customer that you deal with. And this makes it more predictive for you. And you can forecast the kind of risk that you're actually facing. So the point is this, right from the time the order comes in until the time that you actually get paid, you want to decrease the number of friction points as much as possible. Because many a time, the input of one department